I bought 100,000 road spikes, and we're going to see how far they can go. We'll start with 5,000 piles and let that cruise through the rounds. I mean, it's pretty obvious that these starting balloons are not going to get through this wall of over 100,000 individual spikes, but while those are chugging away, I did the most painful thing you can think of in balloons. Yes, I used all of my precious tier 5 insta monkeys for no reason. I thought I would never use them, but I really wanted to get that instant gratification achievement. We had a nice range of monkeys, including a carrier flagship, preemptive strike submarine, legend of the night, crossbow master, permacharge boomerang, avatar of wrath, and a super mine spectre. Luckily, these cover every type of balloon, so we don't have to worry about anything simple like camos or DDTs, just straight up popping power. And we're going to see how far these can go. Obviously past round 100, but hopefully to 200 so we can get a second insta monkey. Back to the 5,000 road spikes, it managed to crush everything, not showing any weaknesses until the 60s, and even here round 63 scared me. It chunked away at our spikes with its 3 waves of ceramics, making huge dents with each rush. But we defended and went into the just as scary round 64 that has 6 normal mobs and 3 fortified ones. I had no idea that just 5,000 spike piles would even make it this far, but we put down almost the exact amount to pop the final mob. And since we just placed down 5,000 spikes, I figured we'd up the ante and put down 15,000 this time. It was clear that this was never intended to happen, as after placing just 7,000 spikes, the game slowed way down and got even worse once we were in the 5 digits. Luckily, my computer was doing just fine, it was just maxing out BTD6. But while we get those placed, let's check back in our Insta. They crushed round 100, which was expected as these towers are worth over $300,000, but I did not expect them to destroy rounds like 126 with such ease. Maybe it's the easy map or the surprisingly good chemistry between the towers, but it was getting close to the point of our prediction. You see, I streamed this on Twitch and we were betting on if this would die before or after round 150. Let me know what you think down below. Speaking of obnoxiously good damage, I had one more stupid idea with powers to test, and it was how many tiers of Bloonarius 1,000 super monkey storms could beat all on their own. This was mainly because I'd never used one of these before and I wanted to see their true potential. Apparently they do 2300 damage to every balloon on screen, meaning it's pretty wasteful to start, but later on each storm will be doing work. My entire plan for this was to let the balloons get as close to the exit as possible and then use the storm to pop as many balloons as we can with each use. And then when Bloonarius comes out, spam the heck out of them until he's gone. Would it be more efficient to use mob mines on Bloonarius and the super monkey storms on these swarms of balloons? Probably, but I didn't think of that until after I recorded this. Back to the spikes, we just got the 15,000 spike piles down and we're ready to hit play again. I made sure to place tons of spikes near the front because of the super low frame rate that the spikes were causing, and we were plowing through the rounds once again. Endless waves of BFBs and mobs were sent our way, rarely even making a dent in the enormous wall of spikes, but eventually they did whittle it down and we were back to placing more spikes. Boom! One auto clicker created, one night of non-stop placing spikes, and 30,000 spike piles later, we are ready to hit play again. It is wild that 5,000 spike piles made it to round 65, then 15,000 more only made it to 82. So how far can doubling that to 30,000 make it? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. And if you thought the lag on the last part was bad, check this out. We've been fast forwarding the footage to make it look not awful, but in reality, it looked like this. Hence why I once again front-loaded the track so much, so we didn't have to wait 4 years for the balloons to get popped. In the early 90s, it sped up a ton as tens of thousands of RBE were sent each round, but that means that our spike piles were quickly running out. I was super worried about DDTs shooting through, but their low HP proved to be a piece of cake for the spikes, and it was the sheer amount of BFBs and ZOMGs that I really needed to be worried about. Every time a few of those came along, they chunked through our wall, eventually busting through on round 94. So it's time to place the rest of the spikes. Yes, all 50,000 that are remaining, which means another auto clicker and another night of placing spikes while I sleep. I was afraid that the game would crash and I'd lose all the spikes that I placed in between these rounds, but I was willing to roll those dice in the name of science. While that gets set up, our insta-monkeys finally hit a snag in the late 130s. Round 138 got much farther than expected with its super fast reinforced DDTs, but we eventually took them down. Then round 139 was a piece of cake as the mobs barely even made it on screen with all of our upfront damage, and round 140 is what did us in, as the reinforced bad took too long to pop the outer layer and the Legend of the Night's black hole did not last long enough. I was hoping that the bad wouldn't get popped at all and it would just get swallowed up by the black hole, but we had more damage than I thought. Anyway, round 140 is nothing to be ashamed about, and this experiment let me make the best trade deal in history by trading away 8 tier 5 insta-monkeys to get a Zarbomba back in return. As for the super monkey storms, it went exactly as one would expect. It one-shot every bloon, including ceramic. 2 of them would break ZOMGs down to BFBs, 1 would break BFBs down to mobs, and 1 more would break those mobs into ceramics. Unfortunately, super monkey storms don't pierce blimp layers, so each ZOMG would take 5 storms to bring down. But the real doozy was each boss. I'm not gonna lie, I just turned off fast forward and spammed away at each boss sighting, and it looked something like this. But the fun part of this challenge was that neither chat nor I could see how many super monkey storms we had left, so we were completely blind to see how far we could get. That being said, we managed to get all the way to the tier 5 boss, and this was the epic ending. All right, tier 5. Oh my god. No, we're out! We're out! Oh, what a tragedy! And finally, we get to watch round 94 and up impale themselves on 50,000 spikes. Once again, this is sped up as these 5 rounds took over 20 minutes for them to go 1/4 of the track, but this is the end of the spikes and we'll see how many rounds it can pop. My reward for spending a few $100 on road spikes was a mortar monkey, but the bigger prize was completing a no monkey Impoppable run. Worth it, I guess, but we are not done yet as we still have thousands of spikes down and free play bloons to pop. Round 101 was a breeze with its purples, ceramics, and mobs only adding up to 20,000 RBE, but round 102, well, that turned out to be a bit tougher. Out of all this, 1 zebra bloon got through our defenses. Sure, we still had to pop an entire reinforced ZOMG, but that part's not important. What is that we still had 3 spikes on the track, and the zebra managed to squeak by because of how long it took to break its ceramic armor. Really a huge letdown as we lost before those 3 spikes were even used. Anyway, now we know that with full monkey knowledge, 100,000 road spikes can beat Impoppable. Hashtag ouch. One of 2 expert maps to be in BTD6 when it first launched. It was considered one of, if not the hardest map for quite some time. So for many players, including myself, this was the map that the CHIMPS medal means the most on. And on March 26th, 2024, I attempted to finally get the beautiful black border for this map. We started off with 3 dart monkeys. Their placements are pretty precise, but not pixel perfect, so it wasn't the hardest to get. One in the top left, right next to the track, one in the top right, pretty close to the corner, and one in the bottom middle, right next to the water. This led to 2 snipes in the first wave of greens and 1 snipe on the bottom blues in just round 6. Then we bought long range darts on the first dart monkey and switched him back and forth between first and strong throughout the round. This let us squeak through round 7 with a snipe and be able to buy a 4th dart monkey for round 8. After a few attacks, we knew he was in the right spot, meaning the next few rounds were pretty free. And before we go any farther, I should mention that this run was all thanks to Dorio. If you don't know, he makes guides for maps like this, and I watched one before the stream and tried to do it all off memory. I couldn't remember much past the start, but more on that later. After round 9 ended, we had enough money for a sniper. We set him to last and waited until he dealt 62 damage before switching him to strong. This made the spacing much better for the dart monkeys to handle anything the sniper couldn't keep up with, and we popped the last 2 reds right behind my face cam. Round 11 was free and gave us enough money for a sniper, which we also set to strong. This will be super nice for the yellows and pinks coming in the next few rounds, as we want to slow them down early and often by lowering their layers. Next, we got an engineer and a ninja in the middle left and right of the map. At this point, I was quickly forgetting the order of upgrades, but we purchased Seeking Shurikens and Ninja Discipline on the ninja before moving over to our engineer. We desperately needed more popping power, so we picked up Sentry Gun. This will give us several more attackers once the sentries are placed, and we want them up and running ASAP. Then we got 3 cheap upgrades that make a world of a difference. Sharp Shurikens on the ninja, FMJ on the sniper, and enhanced eyesight on the dart monkey. This way our damage is more balanced, and we have camo detection on the left side of the map, and our sniper can pop leads coming in the late 20s. Next, we picked up Caltrops as it has a surprising amount of damage and reliability to runs, and saved up for some engineer upgrades. Over the next couple rounds, we made the NGA 202 so we'd have tons of sentries, and he could pin some bloons with his main attack. But now it was finally time for Geraldo. This is a pretty late placement compared to most maps, as we're getting him on round 30, but don't worry, the timing is perfect. After just 1 round, I put nails at the end of every track to prevent small leaks, and thank goodness, because this stopped us from leaking on round 31. but this let us buy sprockets, giving all the engineer sentries the ability to pin Bloons as well, making our defenses against anything lower than ceramics much better. Now I'm not going to lie, I was panicking when we didn't use a camo pot on the engineer for round 33, but between the ninjas seeking shurikens and our 002 dart monkey, we managed to pop them all. Nothing even made it to the nails at the end of the track. In fact, we didn't even need to use a camo pot on the round 36 camo greens, as the dart and ninja took care of them too. What we did spend our money on though was 2 Heart of Thunder druids. These guys' lightnings are super useful for crowd control and will help with leads throughout the run. But that brings us to round 37, where we did have to camo pot the NG, as we have several camo whites coming at the end of the round. And while I'm surprised with how well our ninja and dart have been doing with camos, there's no way they can beat this round alone. What's nice though is with this camo pot and our recent druids, this round didn't stand a chance. I had a stack of nails in my hands at all times in case something went wrong, but we did just fine. This let us save up the $1,800 for Druid of the Storm, letting our right side druid throw tornadoes every few seconds. This will blow back any Bloons getting close to leaking, and it was just in time for the 2 ceramics that end round 38. I don't know if we would have been able to pop these tanky Bloons without the knockback, but with it, it was a piece of cake. We upgraded our second druid to a 300 in the middle of round 39, and we started prepping for the Moab. I put Jerry's Pickles on the NG for tons of extra damage, and then put a blade trap near the front of the track to help pop this outer layer. This let us break it down to ceramics while inside our druid's range, and his tornado pushed the ceramics all the way back to the entrance, where we were able to pop them all. This setup let us beat round 41 as well, but 42 is kind of a doozy. So we placed another pile of spikes on the bottom right exit, a bottle of glue in the top right, and upgraded one of our dart monkeys to a super monkey using a Worn Hero's cape. All this turned out to be well worth it because several spikes were used to clean up the camos at the end of the round. For 43, we glued the top left entrance and watched carefully for leakers. The closest anything got was the bottom left, but the druid clutched up, not even letting them hit the spikes at the end. Round 44 took another glue in the top right entrance, but for whatever reason it wasn't showing a visual, so it looked like there just wasn't any glue there. Luckily, it still slowed down the Bloons that passed over it, but this brings us to round 45 and the 10 camo purples. This would likely be too much for us, so we put a spicy potion on the ninja and hit play. Between the camo potted NG and the spicy ninja, we were not only able to pop the camos, but the rainbows and fortified leads as well. But this is where I realized I was off the beaten path, and I didn't know the glue was invisible, so I was low-key panicking. Unsure where I messed up, I started doing my own thing, trying to get back on track to what I remembered. So we drained the water and placed 2 discount villages in the middle of the map. The placements are pretty tight here, so I made sure to be super careful. But after they were down, we spent the rest of our money upgrading the top right druid to a 302 for more attack speed and range, and put down a glue in the top right once we could afford it. For round 47, we camo potted and pickled the engineer, and even with this, things got super close to leaking. I mean, we even used some of our spikes on the exit behind my face cam. But now I've definitely made it to the point that I couldn't remember what Dorio did each round. Just a rough idea of what monkeys I want to place and upgrades to buy. So the rest of the run is just educated guesses. In the middle of round 48, we upgraded our super to a 011, giving it more range, pierce, and knockback, significantly increasing our defenses. And during round 49, we picked up epic range as well, so it could easily help out with all 4 tracks. But this round makes so much money that we actually bought radar scanner on the left village and bigger radius on the right one, giving us camo detection on all our middle towers, and allowed us to upgrade the left druid to a 302 with both discounts affecting it. I felt like we were in a pretty decent spot, but then it was round 50 and Moab started coming again. Luckily, we have knockback on the super now, so Moabs will be slowed down a bit, but I was still terrified. Just like round 40 though, we popped the Moab in range of the druid, and the ceramics inside were blown back to the start, making the cleanup easy. While scary, the next few rounds went off without a hitch. The druid stalled any ceramics, and the super monkey, ninja, and NG popped any tough Bloons. That is, until the Moabs came on round 52, that definitely would have leaked, but we got the money for a Robo Monkey just in time to pop them. We put him on close first, and the rest of the round was history. Over the next several rounds, the Robo Monkey took care of the Moabs, and we started working on our late game defenses. We picked up jungle drums on round 53 and started placing druids in the center, slowly upgrading them to 014 Poplus. This not only added some damage to our middle, but also made our tornado druids much better, as they were getting the attack speed and pierce buffs too. Going into round 60, we had 3 Poplus by our super and another one on the way above the villages, and this crushed the BFB. Similar to the Moabs, the second we broke it down to ceramics, our Druid of the Storm blew back the ceramics and gave us plenty of time to pop them. From here, we made our newest Druid a pop list and took on round 63. Before it started, we pickled the Robo Monkey as this almost doubles his DPS, and we glued the top left track to make those ceramics slower. Then we hit play and the round actually wasn't too bad, to the point where we just went back to making pop lists. Surprisingly, round 64 wasn't too difficult either, but 65 was pretty scary. Two BFBs come at the end of the round and their insides overlapped in the bottom left. I was worried we wouldn't have the Pierce to handle the balloons heading straight down, but somehow we popped them all. It felt very close, but I couldn't tell how close we were to being Pierce capped. But then we went back to placing 014 Druids in the middle. We actually did this until we had 8 total, which is more than your typical Druid strategy. But that's because we won't be doing the usual Avatar of Wrath or Spirit of the Forest strats. No, we'll be doing something else, but more on that later. For now, we need a Glue Strike to help out. In the future, this will become a Glorm, but for now, we'll accept its slows and short-lasting ability. We could afford this in the middle of round 76, where I was a little afraid of making a Regrow Farm with our 2 Tornado Druids, but we had just enough damage to prevent that from happening. And at this time, Dorio himself stopped by and said hello. The guy that made the guide was in chat, and you know I'm going to use his help to make sure we don't leak. Wait, Dorio's in? Oh, that is Dorio. Hey, I'm the guy who made the guide you seem to be using. If you have any questions, I'll be right here waiting. Heck yeah, baby. Round 77 was a bit scary, but we didn't have to do anything to beat the round. And for 78, we just used Glue Strike for both ceramic rushes and we popped them no problem. But this finally brings us to the late game strategy. We'll be placing tons of Jerry's spicy potions on the druids, and these fire spirits will be our main source of damage. You see, they inherit all the pop plus buffs from the druids they're on, so we're talking tons of attack speed and pierce. Going into round 79, I planned on only using 2 of them, but Dorio said 3 spicy potions was the way to go. Probably. So I trusted him and also bought a 013 Moab glue in the top middle. We upgraded it to a 024 mid-round, which made the BFBs a bit slower and added in some much-needed stuns once the balloons started popping. Then we got another Moab glue on round 80 and worked towards making it a 024 as well. Now it's round 82. Super ceramics and blimps are our main concern, so I finally started placing down bunnies. This isn't in Dorio's guide as he wins with about 20k left over, but I don't think I can go a game without Hopsy, Flopsy, Button, and Dave, even if they make it harder for us to stall the rounds and get our abilities off cooldown. During this save up period / waiting for more bunnies to be in stock, we used about a Glue Strike per round. This ability makes balloons take extra damage from every projectile, and boy do we have tons of those this run. And the second we break Moabs into super ceramics, our Tornado Druids push them back. But that brings us to the mid to late 80s. On 85, we upgraded our Glue Strike to a Glorm, and on 86, I put a Spicy Potion on a Druid because Geraldo was maxed out in his stock. I knew this would only last through around 95, but I figured it'd be a nice bridge from here to the final few rounds. Plus, Jerry would likely get that fire back before we'll place them all on around 91. It was fun seeing this upgraded Fire Spirit float around with the weaker ones, as it's a different shade of orange and noticeably larger. And at the end of round 87, we got our 4th bunny, giving us the Killer Rabbit. Now, we just glue stormed every round and watched the bunny go crazy. But after beating round 88, 3 of our Fire Spirits wore off, leaving us with just the one we put on recently. Jerry is back up to having 3 in stock, but I want to use all of these on round 91, as that way they last through the rest of the game. So we tried to beat rounds 89 and 90 with just this guy. To give him a little extra damage, I put Pickles on the Fire Spirit's Druid, as that massively increases its DPS and hit play. The start of 89 was scary as the Moabs were getting far, but once we activated the Glue Storm, we destroyed the round. And it took us long enough to pop everything that we got his ability back off cooldown for round 90. With this, we smoked the 3 DDTs even with just a single Fire Spirit. But this lined up perfectly. We bought 3 spirits for round 91, and Jerry was 1 round away from hitting level 20 and getting that restock. During the round, I put Pickles on as many druids as I could, as we'll want as many of them buffed by these as possible. Then, once the round was over and Geraldo leveled up, we buffed the druids with fire potions and sharpening stones. I wanted to use all the Pickles as well, but they only last 5 rounds instead of 10, so we planned on waiting until round 96 to spam these. But now we're kind of set. I put 2 camo pots on the middle druids to give them more range and damage to camouflage balloons, and we started saving money. I wasn't sure what all I'd spend it on, but I wanted tons of flexibility for the final few rounds. But something I never skimped on was whenever a spicy potion came in stock, I bought it instantly and threw it on a druid with a ton of pop plus buffs. But that brings us to round 95. one of the scariest rounds in the game. The start was super easy as purples and leads are pretty easy for us, but the second we saw a DDT, I had to use the Glowworm's ability. This makes our druids able to damage them as well, and with this we were able to pop them all right before the ability ended. But just like that, we're in the home stretch. I accidentally started round 96 right away, so we moved on without buying anything before the round, but even with this, we popped everything just fine. Then, before we started round 97, I put a creepy idol in the bottom left and top right. I had no idea if these were needed, but I'm not going to turn down the knockback this late in the game. I was debating buying some other monkeys as we're sitting on over $30,000, but I wasn't sure what we'd need. This was enough for the fortified ZOMGs, but I made sure to pick up 2 genies for round 98 and 2 spike storms, both with bigger stacks. This way we can buff them with Geraldo's items if needed, and I knew they'd be helpful for round 100 if we make it that far. Now, this is an insane amount of defense to have for round 98, but because the map is so difficult and we only get 1 try due to it being a black border attempt, I was still terrified. I made sure to glue storm at the start of the round and my hands were hovered over those spike storm abilities, but we managed to pop everything without leaking. Then round 99 came with its fortified DDTs, but those were easily solved with another glue storm ability. And all that's left is round 100. I put down 3 glues on the far left track, used all of my blade traps, spiked mines, turrets, and even a worn hero's cape, and eventually hit play. The second the bad came on screen, I used both spike storms, then bought both rejuvenation potions, spamming our abilities in the process. And this gave us more than enough damage to pop the bad and beat #ouch on chimps. But that is how I finally got my black border, all thanks to Dorio and chat. Today, I'm attempting to beat Bloonarius with a program that turns my voice into monkey commands. Now, this would be easy if we played a game with breaks in between rounds, but Bloonarius' non-stop waves of balloons should make this quite the challenge. On top of this, it's going to be much harder than a normal boss for 2 reasons. The first is that our speech recognition software has a delay. It's basically as if we're talking to a Google Home or Alexa, and we all know how slow those can be. Right there. Start boss event. Start boss event. Right there. This made it nearly impossible to purchase towers and upgrades in a timely manner, causing for some very slow farming. Nonetheless, we managed to get the action figure on round 10, which means we're only 4 minutes into the game and already 4 rounds behind schedule. What could go wrong? Next up, we're getting some farms, but that leads us to our second big challenge in that we don't have the best control of the mouse. We can move it in every direction, but getting precise placements is out the window, and collecting bananas is a pain, so we are going to rush some marketplaces. Bottom path, bottom path, bottom path, bottom path, bottom path, bottom upgrade. Bottom path, middle path, middle path. It's nice now that we don't have to worry about picking up bananas, and we're going to move into some flavored trades buccaneers because we want that increased sell back. And right as we finish those, Bloonarius is here for the first time. We'll do a cheeky pause just like we would in a normal Bloonarius run, sell our farms, and get up our defenses. Backspace. Big left, right there. Backspace. Big left, right there. Backspace. Small up. Ninja. No, wait, hold on. Escape. Genji. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right there. Bottom upgrade. Top upgrade. Bomb shooter. I think we nicknamed it Boom Boom. We could call it that. Boom Boom. Bottom path. Top path. Bomb shooter. Small down. Top upgrade. Top upgrade. Now, our poor farming is showing as we only got down the essentials. The ceramics are getting ridiculously close to the exit, and we have no money left over. Luckily, our ace in the hole is boat farming, and boy do we need it. So now that the big bad balloon is gone, we can sell everything, get up a trade empire, and place some merchantmen. The nice thing about them is that we only have to worry about getting these boats up by the end of the round instead of as early as possible like we do with farms. The bad thing about them is that they're so inexpensive that it's tough to keep up, even when using your hands. Hence the monstrosity you're about to see. Bottom upgrade. Go left, bottom upgrade. Bottom upgrade, bottom upgrade. Big left, bottom path, bottom path. You may be wondering, why on earth would you do a challenge like this? Easy. Now I can pet Kramer with both hands and keep playing balloons. Plus, I got to nickname every monkey whatever I wanted. Mordecai, Frozone, Blackbeard, Captain Morgan, Gandalf. Well, let's get back to getting more merchantmen. Bottom upgrade. Bottom upgrade. bottom upgrade, bottom upgrade, bottom upgrade, bottom upgrade, bottom upgrade, bottom upgrade, middle upgrade. Now that we have 21 bucks on our hands, it's time to get down a central market for that boat buff. But we are super far behind now and can only afford one of them before needing to get down some defenses for the tier 2 Bloonarius fight. Top path, middle upgrade, top upgrade, middle upgrade, frozone. Top path, top upgrade, middle path, bottom upgrade, boom, boom. Right there. Top path, bottom path, bottom path, bottom path, bomb shooter. Right there. Bottom path, bottom path, bottom path, top path, top path. We opted for the classic super brittle tax zone defense with some recursive clusters to clean up, and bam, tier 2 is donezo. Much easier than the tier 1, but we'll need tons of money for the tier 3. So let's rework our defenses quick, obviously purchase a few bunnies, and then get down 9 more central markets. And now, my friends, after a few more merchantmen, it's finally time to start our Dart Paragon. So we got down 2 crossbow masters, the Plasma Monkey Fan Club, the Ultra Juggernaut, and 30 Super Monkey Fan Clubs to make a high-level Apex Plasma Master. Just kidding, I do not have the patience for that, so we're sticking with a degree 20 Dart Paragon of just the tier 5s, and then we're crossing our fingers that it'll be enough. So with our Paragon up in front and a Glaive Lord in back, we headed into the 3rd Bloonarius fight. And although we were strong enough for this one, the final 2 fights are much more difficult. In preparation for the second to last fight, we got a Cripple Mob, a Glue Storm, and a Super Brittle for that extra damage debuff, and then we proceeded to fight off Insanity. Top path. Sheesh, I'm gonna become a psychopath after all that talking. Holy cow. I feel like I'm a dad that has to talk super gently to a kid that's gonna cry if I'm too stern, because anytime that I raise my tone at this program, it just doesn't respond. With these extra towers and our sanity still there, we took down Bloonarius no problem, which means there's only 1 fight left, and I have the perfect tower to take home the dub. A beefy Navarch of the Seas. A 60, baby! Let's go! First ability. We even got the glue. We got the glue. This one is over, boys. Let's go. There's no way this doesn't defend, right? Yeah. Yes, sir. The first ever voice only Bloonarius. Let's go. GG's all around, boys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bottom, middle. Bottom, middle. Big down. Yes, sir. Big up left. Up left. Yes, sir. Oh, that feels so good. I can use my mouse again. I'm gonna try to beat chimps with only beast handlers. So let's start and purchase the Falcon. Now, only the bottom path has camo detection, so that'll be our primary focus, but we need some of the other beasts for support. So I picked up a Microraptor before starting a new beast handler. I had to get this guy to a 0-1-1 as well to get past the early rounds, but after I could afford a horned owl, we were off to the races. Now we just have to merge the birds and save up for an Adasaurus. I wanted to get this guy early so I never had to worry about leads, and I quickly merged these raptors as well. Now it's a nice boost in popping power to get these tier 2 beasts to level 6, so that was up next. Luckily, it's a simple task of making both beast handlers 0-2-2s. With these guys maxed out, I got another horned owl and started saving up for a golden eagle. This eagle has way more pierce, but more importantly, can merge with even more birds. So you guessed it, the second we got the eagle upgrade, we combined it with our newest owl. This made it level 14 out of 24, meaning if we make both of our horned owls into golden eagles, it'll be a perfect 24 out of 24. With that in mind, we saved up for that tier 3 upgrade. After picking up a Barracuda, of course, as it looks really cool in the middle of that pool. But we managed to get a degree 19 Eagle, a Barracuda, and an Adasaurus by the time round 40 came around. Now, apparently, eagles don't believe in popping mobs, so we had to micro our raptor around to break the outer layer. But once that was done, our eagle blew away the ceramics inside. Afraid of future blimps, I decided to get down a great white ASAP. These guys pull mobs into the water to their death, as well as dealing tons of damage to bigger blimps that they can't one-shot. This rounded sorted out our defense as well, and we were back on track to getting our third eagle upgrade. This went off without a hitch and even let us go all the way to a giant condor, our first tier 4 beast of the run, and he can even pick up and relocate mobs. But because he's our only tower that can see camos, it's pretty important that we level him up. So it's time to get 3 more giant condors so we can max out his levels as well as unlocking the tier 5 beast. Things were going great, but round 59 has camo lead, something I'm very aware of, and I assumed the giant condor would be able to pop as it's a tier 4 beast, but this assumption was wrong, causing us to leak them all and start over. Now, there is only one upgrade that'll be able to pop these camo leads for an affordable price, and that's the T-Rex, as its stomp ability should be able to pop them even though it doesn't have camo detection. This complicates things though, as we'll have to spend over 10 grand on a T-Rex while also having a high enough level condor to be able to keep up with the camos, but we'll give it a shot. I did the same exact start of 2 beast handlers, both 011s, and then made one of them into a 012, merging the birds. After this though, I got 2 more beast handlers, both with the Falcon upgrade, and I spread them out throughout the map so that our owl would have global range early on. This was very nice, and combining these falcons made our owl max level. After that, I got a barracuda in the dead center and worked towards an Adasaurus for lead popping power. Now, I had an awkward amount of beast handlers this time around, causing the Adasaurus to be level 5, so I just saved up for the Velociraptor upgrade. This allowed me to merge everything and upgrade all of the Microraptors to Adasaurs, making our Velociraptor a clean level 14. After that, it was time to make our owl a golden eagle, as camos were starting to become a problem. We got this on round 38 and even managed to get another one on 44. Next up was getting a great white for some mob damage, and then it was time to max out our eagle. Because it only needed 2 more levels, I got down 2 falcon beast handlers throughout the map to give it even more range and solve our awkward level issue. But this leaves us with the camo lead problem that took us out last game. So it's time to save up for a T-Rex. Fast forward to round 50 and we got our biggest upgrade of the day. Solid damage and a great ability. What more could you ask for? I wanted to make this guy a bit stronger, so I crosspathed all of our future giant condors with Adasaurus to give him a few extra levels. Now, I still didn't know if this ability would hit camos, but it was our only shot, so I moved on and got a giant condor. At this point, our defenses were solid, handling the rounds without any micro, and we were only getting better. But it was finally time to face round 59 again. Nervous, I hit stomp, and all of the leads were obliterated. Whew, I'm glad that worked. Now, we just have to stomp again for the rest of the leads, and we're back to upgrading our birds. Time for a few owl, eagle, and condor upgrades, and our main one is looking nice. So nice that it hit its max level, which took its popping power up a notch, now soloing the likes of round 76. But this brought a new problem. We now need to save up 34 grand to make it a Powakai, however you say that, and I'm not sure we have the defenses for that. I mean, round 80 is here, and all we have is a great white and a T-Rex for blimp damage. And these two absolutely obliterated the outer layers, letting the condor clean up the ceramics. I have a feeling a great white will be pretty useful in future black borders, but that's not important right now. What is saving up a ton of money so we can pop the DDTs that are coming. Luckily, the early 80s are full of money, letting us purchase the Powakai on round 84. Now, I probably could have maxed this guy out, but I thought it'd be more fun to get an Orca, as it'll help with fortified BFBs and super ceramics, both of which can be scary. But after that, the goal was to max out the big bird and pick up some easy levels on the T-Rex. The early 90s were pretty easy, but round 95 was where it got cool. Here, I had to use a stomp to stun the last of the DDTs and let the big bird clean up. After that, I kind of just spammed stomp to help out our big bird not get overwhelmed by anything on 96, and it was on round 97 where we finally had enough money to max him out, making it an absolute beast. You can visibly see the increase in attack speed, which was super nice for round 98, and it probably gets some pierce and damage buffs too. Then I spent the rest of our money upgrading the T-Rex, whose stomp came in clutch again for round 99, as those reinforced DDTs were challenging even for our maxed out bird. But with the stun, we were able to pop them. Now we just had the bad left, and holy cow, did the Orca do damage. Now, I know that the bird was also attacking, but the Orca shredded that layer, and the DDTs and ZOMGs inside did not stand a chance. But with that, we beat Chimps only using Beast Masters. I made mobs have 500 times their normal health. Usually this isn't possible, but BTD6 just came out on Xbox, and the challenge editor slider lets you go all the way up to 50,000% HP. Now, I think the clear strategy to beating these impossibly tanky mobs is to stall the heck out of them and whittle them down slowly. But we won't be able to stall the bad, so we'll have to do 10 million damage before it gets through the map somehow. Because of this, we'll run Ezili, as her level 20 ability is the only chance we have at popping this thing. There's just one problem. She doesn't hit level 20 by round 100, so we're going to have to play on an expert map as heroes level up faster on them, get her down early, and spend around $13,000 to make her at max level for the bad. So we hopped on Dart Castle and got started. We did the classic Dart Monkey Submarine start, and to save money, we skipped the second Dart Monkey and Submarine, which normally make the early rounds very easy. This allowed us to get Ezili down by round 13 while not wasting any precious real estate or money on unnecessary monkeys. This did cause tons of problems though. We had several restarts as I only wanted to get monkeys or upgrades that we'd need later, so we got a boomerang right below the track that'll become a mob press, and then worked towards getting a 202 submarine. This was pretty tricky to save up for, but funny enough, the boomerang is what saved us. Every time we were in a pickle, I just changed the hand that he threw with, and he magically did better through a series of fortunate snipes that let him use all of his Pierce. Anyway, this allowed us to get our airburst darts on round 19, which will destroy the rounds for a while. One issue though is that we need to somehow take down the round 40 mob that has 500 times more health than normal. We could either stall it with a heli pilot, or the much cooler option, pull it down to Davy Jones' locker with a pirate.
Sir, you're in Davy Jones' locker, Captain. I know that.
Obviously, we chose the second option, getting it in the middle of round 39. Between this and an alchemist, we had more than enough damage to handle the normal balloons to this point, and this gave it just enough time to come off cooldown and pull in the mob for an insta-kill, dealing over 300,000 damage in about a second. Nice, we killed the first of hundreds of mobs that'll be coming our way. But now we have to worry about the normal balloons. The first problem is camos, but that's nothing a submergent support can't handle. We just microed the sub to only be submerged once camos were in its range. Then the round 43 ceramics were too much. Funny enough, all we needed was a glue gunner up front set to strong to slow them down. I made sure he was out of range of the alchemist, and I figured he'd become a mob glue in a bit, so this wouldn't be wasteful at all. After this though, we needed just a little more damage for the balloons, but round 50 was coming up, and with it 2 mobs. So we picked up a reactor, as this will destroy anything under ceramics, as well as making our pirate hook have a shorter cooldown. One thing we did to get a little more damage out of the reactor was micro him. When balloons are in its range, it'll deal more damage if you spam between submerge and first targeting options. And it's pretty fun on Xbox, as you can just mash the bumpers as fast as you can. But this cooldown reduction wouldn't be enough for round 50, so we picked up a second village, jungle drums, and worked towards a mob press. This, combined with mob glue, will slow the blimps down quite a bit, but there's one more thing we need. You see, we can't hook the mob until it comes out of the trees, which wastes a bit of time. But if we pay to remove the trees, purposely lose the round and start over, the game lets you hit balloons in the trees for some reason. This way we can pull in the first mob right away, giving it more time to come off cooldown for the second one. Not only do we need this time right now, but it also lasts the rest of the game, so it'll be useful later. The next tough round was 52, which has 2 mobs back to back, and that's something we can't handle. So we got a mob shove heli pilot and parked it right next to Ezili, which was enough to permastall the last mob. Also, something I should mention here, I don't have the footage of round 6 through 79 of my original run because I messed up the recording. So this is footage of 20 times health mode, but rounds 80 and up will be 500 times health mode. Anyway, round 53 has 3 mobs, and the rest of the 50s don't get any easier. Because of this, we had to pop the final mob of each round without using abilities. This only took a minute or so here, but the actual run's mobs had 25 times more health, so they took a long time to pop. We rinsed and repeated this until round 57, where we had to pick up a second mob press and upgrade our helicopter to a 023 to be able to stall all 4 of the mobs. Now, you may be wondering why we are making our boomer 024s instead of 204s. Well, per CHIMPS and Mindcool, who were helping me through this run, 024 boomers are much better at stalling DDTs, which will be our biggest threat to this run. This is one of many tips they gave me, and I don't think I could have made it this far without them. Anyway, round 58 is when Ezili finally hit level 10, giving us another ability that can quickly kill mob class balloons. This also lets our current setup handle more mobs per round, as we can take out 2 right away without the need for stalling them. This takes us to round 60, where we couldn't insta-kill the BFB because the next round has 5 mobs. Something we might be able to handle, but I'm not going to risk it when the only downside to waiting is time. Anyway, this took about half an hour, which was nice as I literally went and grilled some burgers while I waited. From here, we coasted until round 62, which was actually harder in 20 times health mode as we popped the mobs on accident and their ceramics kept leaking before we could insta-kill them. This never happened in 500 times health mode, but that was nothing a 240 Ice Monkey couldn't fix, as that slow let the boomerangs catch back up and push the mobs far away from the exit. And this brings us to round 63. An absolute doozy of a round, especially when all of our money has been spent on stalling blimps. But the reason we picked up a snowstorm instead of another mob press last round was for these ceramic rushes. Using the snowstorm's ability, we should be able to handle the first and third rush of this round, leaving us to only deal with the second. And after a bit of brainstorming with Mindcool and Chom, we found out that a third mob press, primary training, and the addition of a well-timed Ice Monkey just barely did the trick. This setup was able to beat all the rounds until 71, where we had to take on 10 mobs at once, which was the scariest thing we'd faced so far. The funny thing was that mobs were much more difficult to deal with than BFBs because they're so much faster. So tons of mobs were much scarier than when the game mixed in a BFB or two. But a fourth mob press was all we needed to move on and continue saving up for a tier 5 monkey. And on round 78, that's what we could afford. An absolute zero, which was perfect timing as it let us destroy these two giant ceramic rushes. We had to decide between going the classic Icicle Impale or the absolute zero to counter DDTs. Luckily, the Xbox BTD6 is on version 32.0, which means the absolute zero is bugged to apply a super strong permafrost, slowing blimps by 75% instead of 25%. This made stalling very easy, allowing our current setup to stall seemingly endless amounts of blimps, especially when BFBs or ZOMGs were sent instead of mobs. Because of this, we were able to end the rounds with either a pirate hook or a mob hex because nothing in the 80s scared us. The hardest round in this range was probably 89, but even that was made super easy with an absolute zero ability. And then it was just a matter of time until all the blimps were taken out with abilities. This takes us to round 90, and it's 3 DDTs. One we can kill right away with the Buck's hook, the second we can kill pretty quick with the Zilly's mob hex, and the third we have to stall until our insta kills come back off cooldown. Very manageable with our current setup. Rounds 91 and 92 took 24 minutes of sheer stalling and ability spamming. For some reason, I picked up another mob press. I honestly don't remember doing this, but I'm sure it was because I was scared of round 93 and its spooky 6 DDTs. Now, there were a few ways to beat this as we'd saved up over $45,000, but we had to think of the best way so that we would also be able to handle all of round 95. One option was to place 8 mob presses under a village down bottom. This did handle round 93, but I wasn't sure if it could stall round 95. So I exited to home and purchased the coolest upgrade in the game, the 025 Glue Gunner, aka the Super Glue. This stops DDTs in their tracks and is exactly what I was looking for. And with it, we smoked round 93. It's also nice that this combined with permafrost makes any mob class bloon just crawl along. Round 94 was a piece of cake and only took 6 minutes of stalling, which is much faster than normal. And that brings us to round 95, the round that makes or breaks the run and actually bested me the day before. But I was determined not to lose 10 hours into this run again. So I tested it out to see if we could handle this round as is, and the answer was absolutely not. We got smoked before the final balloons even spawned. So how can we beat this round with only 20 grand? Mind you, we still have to save up for Zilly's level 20 upgrade, so we can't spend much more after this. I decided to give the Super Glue and mob presses camo detection so they could start stalling DDTs right away instead of waiting for them to get decamoed by the reactor. This worked very well until the Super Glue got pierce capped by everything grouping up in the middle and the DDTs started to sneak through. We tried this a few times, but it was clear it wasn't going to work. Then it hit me. Let's add a few sabotage ninjas on top of this setup. That way we'd have some global slows to pair with our absolute zero. The second the DDT started to come, we activated Bloons Sabotage, slowing them all down, letting our Super Glue and mob presses keep up. Once quite a few were in the middle, we froze them all to apply permafrost and keep them slowed. But not all the DDTs had spawned yet, so we used our second Bloons Sabotage, all the while killing as many as possible with hook and mob hex. This slow lasted just long enough to use absolute zero again to make sure everything was permafrosted. Additionally, the Super Glue was set to strong to prioritize the DDTs over the mobs. Then, anytime the DDTs made it to the heli pilot, we used absolute zero or Bloons Sabotage to slow them down and get them pushed back. This was a very stressful few minutes, but the ability rotation was working, and every DDT we kill should make this a bit easier as our Super Glue will be able to keep up. This is exactly what happened, but there were a couple scares with the mobs. Once the DDTs got pushed back to the trees, the super glue would keep them there as he was set to strong, and occasionally the mobs down bottom would not be glued and beeline it for the exit. Now, I was terrified to switch the glue off the DDTs, so I focused the freezes on the mobs. This worked perfectly, and once all the DDTs were gone, we picked off the mobs one by one. It only took 20 minutes of spamming abilities, and round 95 was a thing of the past. 96, 97, and 98 were a piece of cake, as there was basically no limit to the number of blimps that we could stall. But this is where the damage really stacked up on Ezili and the Buccaneer. I mean, each fortified ZOMG gave Ezili 11 million damage, which is over 5 times the entire health of a normal Chimps game. On to round 99, which is normally really scary with the fortified DDTs, but because we were one-shotting them with abilities anyway, it was just an easier round 95. Just stall them with the glue and freezes and watch Ezili and the pirate pop them one by one. We just had to make sure that Mob Hex was off cooldown for next round. Whew! Only $12,960 to get Ezili to level 20 and be able to hex the bad. This was my first time seeing one on Xbox, so we got the hint screen, causing me to hex a bit later than I wanted, but man does that work fast. Popping the bad by about halfway through the track, letting us beat this challenge. But that bad added 29 million damage to Ezili's total. I mean, the outer layer alone had 10 million health, plus the remaining 19 million from everything inside it. But that brought Ezili's total damage to 392 million, the Bucks to 182 million, and even the super glue did 3 million damage. But all it took was 10 hours of playing, crazy amounts of stalling, and 994 abilities used to take down 500 times HP mobs in BTD6.
Ravine. One of, if not the hardest map in BTD6. There are 4 exits to guard, and round 7 is only possible if you pop a certain balloon with the sword. I'm on a mission to black border every map, and this one has been on my list for quite some time, so let's try to beat it. Round 6, we need to place 3 dart monkeys in very specific spots in order to pop every balloon. One in the bottom left set to strong, one in the top middle set to last, and one in the bottom set to first. This lets the top dart monkey snipe several balloons this round, starting with a green and finishing the round with some blues. And the bottom left dart is barely able to keep up with everything on his side, as he popped a red balloon that was basically off the screen. This gives us enough money to upgrade our bottom dart to a 010, giving it extra attack speed, which is just enough to pop all but one balloon on round 7. And if we tap the sword up top 24 times, it'll fling out of the rock and fly to the strongest balloon on screen, dealing up to 3 damage. We use this to pop the final 2 layers of a green balloon, and our monkeys could handle the rest of the round. What's funny is Chimps is impossible without this little Easter egg, so I'm glad they added it. Before starting round 8, we got another dart monkey on the left side and set this guy to strong as well. This lets us pop all the blues and greens that come this round with no issue at all. Then we plop down a dart monkey in the bottom right and set him to strong. This guy is placed just right to hit 2 balloons with several of his attacks this round and lets us move on. And now it's time for our final dart monkey of the run, right below the first one we placed, and we're keeping him on first. It's always funny to start a game off with this many dart monkeys, but it beats the early rounds and is enough to let us save up for Oben. We got him down in the middle of round 13 and placed him in a very specific spot that saves room for a druid later on. But here he can see 3 of the 4 tracks and helps out a ton with every round. Next, we upgraded our first dart monkey to have extra attack speed and then got a sniper up top. We set him to strong and used brambles for round 15, as we need all the help we can get for this tough round. We got a pretty good bramble spot, making the round look easy, but we got a bit lucky. From here, we went back to upgrading our dart monkey, making it a 030 triple shot going into round 18. This makes greens and yellows super easy to deal with on the left side, even if they're in bunches like at the end of this round. Continuing on, we kept spamming brambles and upgraded our sniper to a 100 FMJ. This lets it pop 4 layers of a balloon instead of 2 and gives it lead popping power that we'll need in the future. And now we get to use that space we left next to Oben by getting a druid right next to him. This guy will be very important in a bit, so it's nice to see we left enough space for him. Funny enough though, we're not upgrading him just yet. Nope, we're getting a wizard in the trees. It'd make more sense getting a druid here since they love nature and all, but this is an amazing spot for an arcane spike, which we'll be getting later. We made this wizard a 100 so he could see over the bridge, and then gave our sniper night vision goggles so he could pop the camo on round 24. With this problem out of the way, we went back to our wizard and slowly made it a 300, getting that 3rd upgrade after beating round 28. This lets each bolt deal extra damage, have more pierce, and gives the wizard more range. A win-win-win. Then the easy crosspath was making it a 302 so he can see camos and get more range to be able to help out with the left track a little better. But now it's time to save money. The next several rounds are absolutely free with this setup, so we kept pressing play and popping all the balloons until we beat round 35. Here, we bought a discount village and made the druid a 201. This lightning attack is crucial to round 36 as it can wrap around the bridge and damage the pinks on both tracks. I didn't know it could jump that far, but boy am I happy it can, as we wouldn't have beaten the round without it. But I couldn't remember what to get next. Do we save our money for some round 40 defense, or do we need the jungle drums buff to beat the next couple rounds? I thought we'd be fine for round 40, so I bought the village upgrade and instantly I was happy. I doubt we would have beaten round 38 without it. And we have a little trick up our sleeves for the round 40 Moab. Under the discount village, we upgraded the druid to a 301, giving it a blowback tornado, and we got an AMD alchemist only in range of Oben. This makes his ability deal much more damage to the Moab. So we waited until Oben attacked so we could place his brambles on top of the blimp, and once the outer layer was popped, the druid pushed all the ceramics inside back to the entrance, giving the rest of our defenses enough time to pop them. From here, our plan was simple. Get a smart spikes where it can see 3 of the tracks and be discounted by the village, and once it was a 102, we saved up for arcane spike, getting it at the end of round 48, just in time for the fortified ceramics. Then we picked up several supporty towers, a spiked balls, a berserker brew, and we made a ball lightning druid on the left side of the map. And to wrap up with the bottom, we gave our arcane spike a berserker brew. It was kind of funny barely being able to see these guys in the trees, yet they were doing most of the work for our monkeys. This brought us to the mid 50s, where it's about time to work on our late game defenses. We started this with a discount village up top and built a 013 Moab glue right next to it. Then we started making a 024 Moab press right next to our second dart monkey. I would have loved to have him by the round 60 BFB, but we were just over $1,000 away from the upgrade. Even without it though, the wizard and druid were able to pop the entire round before a single balloon even made it to Oben's wall of trees. But the next scary round was 63. I wasn't sure how we'd stack up against these ceramic rushes, but our druids countered them pretty well. The tornadoes blew a ton of ceramics back each time, and the ball lightning tore through each rush, to the point where we didn't even need a wall of trees for the biggest wave of ceramics at the end of the round. But this let us afford our 023 mortar monkey, which will be our main source of camo detection going forward, and we picked up jungle drums on our top village to help out with the Moabs on 64. And now we just need one more thing before starting our massive save up. A berserker brew alchemist next to the Moab press. Kind of an odd pickup, but we want that extra attack speed, and we'll be making it a Moab domination soon. Now, this is kind of a weird tower to carry such a difficult run, so I want to give a shout out to Dorio. He made a guide doing exactly this, and it inspired me. We watched and practiced the early and mid game in a previous stream, and this is us doing it from memory, so you should check out his channel. Now, $54,000 is a lot of money to save up for, especially on a map like Ravine, so I made sure to use wall of trees and brambles as much as I could and moved the mortar monkey back and forth with each round. At the start of the save up, the rounds were flying by, but quickly things got more and more difficult. The end of round 79 basically made it to the end of the track. Round 80 was terrifying as we didn't pop the Moab layers until they were across the bridge, and tons of balloons made it to Oben's trees, and we were still 20k away from his upgrade. I'd like to say the next few rounds were easier, but round 81 broke Oben's trees. 82 was terrifying with how many fortified Moabs went down the left track, and plenty of balloons hit our pineapples on the left side near the end of round 84. But during this scary time, we were finally able to afford the Moab domination, and he started putting the balloons in their place. Now, we just need some support monkeys and to remember to micro the mortar throughout the run, as our boomer doesn't have camo detection. Our first few upgrades after Moab Dom were getting the glue gunner to a 024 relentless glue, and we upgraded the top alchemist to a 420 stronger stim. Already, the Moab Dom was dumbstering the rounds, but these will make it even better. Round 90, the first DDTs came, and the signal flare was able to decamo them all. Even with this though, the Moab Dom didn't do that much, but our arcane spike and druids were able to pick up the slack. Luckily, the rest of the DDT rounds will be coming from the right side, where the boomer will be able to do a little more damage to them, like on round 93, where the Moab Dom was able to stall most of them pretty well, as none of the DDTs were close to leaking. But this round gave us enough money for an overclock. And if you didn't know, an overclocked Moab domination kind of wins you the game if you time the abilities right. This came just in time, as round 94 is a huge jump in RBE, but our boomer popped all of the blimps off screen, only letting a few ceramics through. Honestly, one of the easiest rounds so far. But now I wasn't sure what to get. I know we need a first strike for round 100, but I didn't know what else we could afford before that. So I got a sabotage ninja in range of a discount village and started round 95. Overclock came off cooldown in time for the DDTs, and our super attack speed boomer took out most of the round. Some blimps did manage to get down the right side, but they'd already taken damage and were easily picked up by our defenses near the back of the track. Round 96 was similar to 94 in that every blimp was popped off screen and we only had to deal with the super ceramics inside, but 97 was a nice change of pace. We didn't have to use any abilities to handle this one, which set us up great for the final few rounds. Instead, the Moab Dom brought these fortified ZOMGs down to just ceramics by the time our other defenses had to do anything, making for a very easy hold. For round 98, we started with an overclock and refreshed our wall of trees and watched the Moab Domination do everything. It was crazy how well he kept up with the blimps, and we were even able to buy our first strike mid-round. Now, we could use overclock for 99, but that'd leave us really weak to the bad. So this is where our Sabotage Ninja comes in. Right as the round started, we slowed the Bloons down with his ability and were able to pop most of the fortified DDTs, and those we didn't pop were easily taken out by Oben's trees. But now, the only thing between us and a ravine black border is the round 100 bad. We overclocked the Moab Domination, hit play, and used first strike right away. Unlike other strats, it's more important that we take out this outer layer as fast as possible rather than trying to one-shot the insides, and we did this by the end of the bridge. The 3 DDTs inside made it to Oben's wall, while the Boomer took the ZOMGs down to super ceramics, and everything worked together to take out the rest. Plenty were eaten by the trees, several were blown back by the druid, and just about every tower did some damage to finish off the round. But just like that, we got the beautiful black border on Ravine. Can we beat Elite Bloonarius with only boats? That leaves us with a whopping 2 towers to work with, the Buccaneer and Brickle. We'll start by putting a 002 boat down in the middle pool of spa pits. I chose this map because of the long track, tons of water, and plenty of spike piles. Because spa pits has a tar pits Easter egg, we get 6 piles of spikes instead of the usual 1, and with these we'll have a much easier early game. We need to make tons of money if this is going to work, so we stayed with only our buck until we could afford the Merchantman upgrade. It was painful not having Benjamin equipped or putting down our free Dart Monkey, but going into round 14, we finally had enough money for the upgrade. Now we'll be making an extra $220 per round, and the first thing we spent the money on was Grape Shot, an upgrade that brought our projectile count up from 1 to 7 on each side of the boat. Then we followed it up with another Merchantman, getting him on round 22. This doesn't even come close to how much money we'd normally be making in a boss event, but I'm hoping the easy map will help us overcome that. But here we had a decision. Keep getting Merchantmen as we need this to start snowballing, or we can get Brickle as her level 3 ability, Naval Tactics, will help a ton on tough rounds and the boss. And while we maybe should have pushed her off more, we chose to get our hero now. For the rest of the 20s and 30s though, we got more and more 003 Buccaneers. And this was so inefficient that we only got 6 of them by the time we had to start prepping for Bloonarius. We did this by getting a 320 destroyer at the front of the track with plans of making it an aircraft carrier on round 40. And we timed this almost perfectly, as we were only $45 short when Bloonarius spawned. This, combined with Naval Tactics, can get through Bloonarius' health bar, but the rushes of 70 ceramics at each skull scared me a bit. So on the opposite side of the map, I built another destroyer. I wasn't sure if we'd have to upgrade it to an aircraft carrier, but after watching the second and third skulls, I figured we'd be fine, especially after we started placing more merchantmen in the middle pool. The nice thing about boat farming is that on top of making more money with every Buccaneer, you also get a little more defense, especially if you pick up Grape Shot along the way. We kept placing more merchantmen in the middle spa until it was completely full. Then we upgraded a few boats to flavored trades to get that plus 10% sellback on our destroyer and aircraft carrier, as we had no need for them once we popped Bloonarius on round 51, but we did need their money. After selling them, we only had to wait one more round before we had the 23k needed to build the Trade Empire, the tier 5 upgrade of the Buck's bottom path. Now, every merchantman we place will make each one of them make more money per round, scaling incredibly fast. This buff caps out at 20 merchantmen, so we place them until round 57 where we hit this limit. And now it's time to prepare for the tier 2 fight. We put an aircraft carrier up front and saved up until we could make it a carrier flagship, something that'll do tons of damage to the boss and buff the rest of our boats. This did not burn through Bloonarius' health quickly though. Even with the Naval Tactics, it took until around 62 to hit the first skull, and the BFBs inside weren't that easy to take out. Now, I wanted a Pirate Lord ASAP, as we might not have the damage to hold off the BFB rushes once Bloonarius gets further, but I knew farming came first. So we upgraded all our merchantmen to flavored trades, crosspath them with Grape Shot, and then bought the Pirate Lord. Using his hooks and or Brickle's Megamine helped out a ton with the rest of the skulls, and we were able to beat this tier 2 fight on round 72, leaving us only 8 rounds to prep for the next encounter.
After the Pirate Lord, we spent all our money placing more bottom path bucks, so our income was actually pretty good. But it's still spooky being this close to the next fight when the tier 2 wasn't exactly easy. It took until round 78 to fill out spot pits with 004s, leaving us with no money and only 2 rounds until Bloonarius returned. The plan is to get a Navark of the Seas, but that costs $550,000, and when Bloonarius spawned, we only had 80 grand. So we have a ways to go. I just tried to do as little damage to Bloonarius as possible while also beating the natural rounds, as our boats only generate money at the end of each round. There was just one problem. Each skull we hit spawns 9 DDTs and a bad, and our Pirate Lord and Carrier flagship don't have camo detection, so we have to get creative. At the first skull, we popped the 9 DDTs with naval tactics, and once the bad broke open, we popped the 3 inside with a mega mine. This seemed like it was going to work great, but there's one hurdle left. We're quickly approaching the 90s, where DDTs spawn naturally, and if they time it right, we'll be unprepared for them. Which is exactly what happened on round 93. We used a mine for the normal spawns and naval tactics for Bloonarius' DDTs, but once the bad broke open, we didn't have an answer. I tried to pull them in with the Pirate Lord, but Brickle's sea mines only decamoed one of the 3, letting the other 2 break for the exit. We reloaded this round and had a few seconds to buy Hotshot on as many flavored trades as we could, and this was surprisingly enough damage to break their outer layers. But you may be wondering, Josh, why is this even a problem? You have the money for a Navark. Well, my fellow viewers, it's not that simple. You see, the tier 5 fight will be much tougher than this one, so I want to set us up for success. Once we build this Navark, we'll be making much less money per round than we are right now, so I want us to have a bunch of leftover money to place more boats. And on top of this, the Navark is almost a degree 60, and if we can make it there, it'll get a ton of bonus boss damage. So we sat on this money, letting the rounds pass and the balloons get far, all while we get more pops and cash generated on our Buccaneers. But we can't wait forever, because if Bloonarius is still alive when round 100 starts, it's an auto loss. So on round 98, we finally pulled the trigger and made the Buccaneer Paragon, a degree 60 Navark with almost 200k left over. This might have been a bit close, as 98 and 99 aren't the longest rounds, but Bloonarius' health bar dropped faster than my bank account during a Steam sale. This insane tower might be enough to get us the win, but I'm not satisfied yet. We started filling the water with a trade empire and flavored trades once again, as the Navark lets this buff effect up to 40 boats now. So some of our flavored trades will be making $1,720 per round. Plus, we don't have to worry about the tier 4 boss, as our Paragon is that strong. The tier 5 fight, though, is a bit tougher. Elite Bloonarius will come in with 40 million health, so I want an even bigger Navark. We farmed our little hearts out, getting the last flavored trades on round 106, letting us make just over $1 million by round 120. We sold our degree 60 Paragon and made a new one, 10 degrees stronger. We don't get any large bonus at degree 70, but we'll take the extra damage. It's like adding an extra slice of ham to a sandwich. Unnecessary? Maybe, but definitely better. And with this, we hit play. Brickle and a degree 70 Navark of the Seas versus Elite Bloonarius. His health wasn't melting like the last 2 fights, but his balloon spawns were. Even when we hit a skull, the fortified bads didn't last too long, especially when we used his upgraded hook on one of them just for fun. And to boost Brickle's damage, we constantly use naval tactics and her level 20 Megamind to help out. But with only boats, we beat tier 5 Elite Bloonarius on round 131, about 40% of the way through spa pits. The hardest 2 fights were definitely tiers 1 and 3 though, as we really had to set ourselves up for success. We made a tier list of all the monkeys, and we're going to try to beat chimps with only the worst ones. That means we have top path druids, bottom path boats and elks, and Oben Greenfoot. And because so many people said that Quincy was worse than Oben, we'll try it with him too. I started both runs off with a druid in this orange, quadrilateral, and then work towards our heroes. There are nice benefits to both of these guys, as Oben will help out our druids and also provide a ton of early game popping power, while Quincy will be used mainly for camos and mob damage. After we got our heroes down, we bought just about the same monkeys in both runs. This included buying 2 more druids and getting them to 3 2-0s so they can stall ceramics, while also making regrow farms impossible, as they'll strip that property. We also got 4 boats to pop all the camo balloons, and we upgraded our first druid to a 402. This is the most important monkey of both runs, because our biggest problem will be camos, as alchemists can't see them and there's no way that bottom path bucks will be able to stop DDTs. So that leaves us with one option, the Superstorm Druid, because somehow he gets camo detection with his tier 5 upgrade. I'm not complaining, I just don't see that anywhere in his upgrade description. And we want this guy to attack as fast as possible, so we made him a 402, as Heart of Vengeance gives him a plus 10% attack speed boost even in chimps. But it was at this point where the two runs diverged. You see, Oben's run needed way more camo detection, so we had to get 5 more grape shot bucks just to stand a chance. Luckily, this plus spamming wall of trees was enough to scrape by. And while that was going on, we got pretty cocky in the Quincy run and upgraded one of our boats to a merchant man just to flex on the balloons. After that, we added 2 acidic mixer dip alchemists to the fray for some extra ceramic and mob damage, and then we were hit with round 78. The camo ceramics at the end of the round were too much for our boats to handle, and we couldn't afford a superstorm yet, so we had to rely on our heroes. Quincy's was pretty simple. We just had to use this rapid shot on the BFB and then time his arrow storm for the camo ceramics. Easy peasy. Though right after this, I had to upgrade a druid to a 420 to stop round 79's Regrow Farm, something that I'd already thought I countered with a 320 druids, but I guess not. Anyway, Oben's round 78 was much more of a challenge, as the only way he could help out was with his brambles and trees, but the camo ceramics were blowing right through them. So after several attempts, this is what I came up with. We had to place this wall of trees at the very start of the round, but far enough into the track that only the camo ceramics would get to it. These camos would bust right through, but I retargeted Oben's trees for even further down the track, and it came off cooldown just in time to eat a bunch more ceramics. After 2 tree walls and some brambles, the boats were barely able to clean up, but we were off to the races. Additionally, I had already upgraded one of my druids to a 420, as I had learned from Quincy's run that I needed it to stop the regrows. Then we coasted to a Superstorm Druid in both runs, getting on round 84 with Quincy and 85 with Oben. This was enough to solo for a while, so we got a little overconfident and purchased a lead to gold, a rubber to gold, and in Quincy's case, we upgraded our boats even more. I really wanted to win with a trade Empire, but the bad was quickly approaching, and that's the one round that our Superstorm can't solo. So we plopped down 13 more druids of various tiers to help out, and this, combined with Quincy's abilities, were more than enough to take out the bad. I wish it was that easy with Oben though. After Quincy's struggles, I knew Oben's run would be even harder, as he basically doesn't help against the bad, so I saved a ton of money by not upgrading the boats for no reason and instead spent it on a few druids. And by a few druids, I mean many druids, all buffed by AMDs. And as funny as this is, it was barely enough to pop the bad. But just like that, we took down chimps with only the worst monkeys. I'm taking on 4 custom maps in BTD6, and we're going to beat them all on chimps. We'll start off easy with a beginner map and work our way up to an expert one. Naturally, we had to start with Skull Peak, one of the classics. I had no choice, the nostalgia was just too much. So we hopped in and I started it just like I would have in BTD5, with a submarine and then using a dart monkey to give it some vision near the start of the track. But after we got airburst darts and camo detection, I had to place down Gwendolyn, as it wouldn't be BTD6 without a hero. Now to add another airburst and buff them both with an alchemist and a village. Honestly, the alchemist was one of the greatest additions to Bloons tower defense when moving to BTD6. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but a tower that buffs others with magical potions is exactly what I like to see. Anyway, we cruised through the rounds, picking up a sub commander, some more subs, and then buffing them with a carrier flagship and a MIB. In hindsight, I should have run Brickle with how many water monkeys we placed, but it's too late for that. Now we just need some DDT defense, so I went for the classic Icicle Impale, and to finish off the round 100 bad, we got a first strike submarine. Now to time the ability just right, so we don't have to worry about the ZOMGs and DDTs inside, and we got ourselves an easy win. Next up is an intermediate map, and I chose Snake River, another BTD5 classic. I planned on doing 4 completely new maps for this video, but I liked this map too much growing up, so I had to throw it in. It's the last of the nostalgic maps though, I promise. Now, there are plenty of good places to build a solid defense, but instead we opted for another water strategy. I was bummed that we didn't use Brickle on the last map, so I had to work her in here. It's only fair. With that, we did a similar start of submarines and a dart monkey and worked towards our hero. Then we got some airburst darts and an alchemist, but this is where we veered off course. I got down a 320 destroyer just in time for the round 40 mob, as it's one of the best balloon poppers in the game for how cheap it is, and Brickle makes it even better with her abilities and passive pierce bonus. After that, it was time to work in our main tower of the run, which is the one and only Pirate Lord. Unfortunately, there wasn't a good spot for this guy down below, though, but I did manage to squeak him in a bit farther upstream. Not the best spot, but it'll do. The nice thing about this guy is that the first 4 upgrades are super cheap, meaning you can easily get a pretty solid tower while saving up for the tier 5 upgrade. This tier 4 carried us through the 50s, but we hit a snag in round 63 when we were just short of affording the Pirate Lord. We leaked on our first attempt when I tried to get through with abilities alone, but it wasn't enough. I knew that we could win by adding a recursive cluster or a Morglave's boomerang, but I wanted to stay true to Brickle and win with another water tower. So I got another destroyer and confidently hit play. With abilities, we crushed the first 2 waves of ceramics, but with everything on cooldown, a few bloons snuck by at the very end. Luckily, I was doing all this in the challenge editor because I didn't want to grind all these maps to unlock chimps, so we can just hit retry the last round if we fail. But after leaking round 63 twice in a row, I had to break out the big guns. I purchased a 320 glue gunner to counter these nasty bloons, and surprisingly, we absolutely smoked the round. Where a destroyer failed, a bloon dissolver succeeded. Down a few $1,000s, we trucked on and were able to purchase the Pirate Lord just a few rounds later. Then I started working on an Energizer, as I really enjoy the Brickle Pirate Lord Energizer combo right now because of how well they all work together, as the cooldown reduction is amazing and it allows you to get Brickle to level 20 for those massive mega mines. Unfortunately, there weren't any good spots left for this submarine, so I had to just throw it down bottom and pray for the best. Fast forward to round 82, we got our Energizer and our Pirate Lord's pull became incredibly OP. Then we got a MIB for future DDTs and worked towards an absolute 0 to help us stall and increase our ability uptime. Unfortunately, round 95 came just before I could afford the tier 5 upgrade, and we didn't have the oomph to take down all the DDTs. Luckily, all we had to do was get a Sabotage Ninja and round 95 was ours, and it only took until the end of round 96 for us to be able to afford the absolute 0. This global slow will help out a ton as it combos well with our Pirate's Pull and Brickle's Mega Mine stacking. And with that, we cruised all the way through round 100 and defeated Snake River. Onto the advanced map, Line. All we had to do was defend Area 51 from the balloons using any means necessary. And funny enough, we could basically put the monkeys on the track, so it kind of looked like we were making a balloon barrier out of monkeys. But with a 3-dart start, we were off to the races. Next, we just needed a sniper for the stronger balloons, and then we could work towards the Druid of the Jungle for that sweet global vine. We hit a few snags along the way, but once we got it, we saved up for Striker Jones, and our plan for bomb spamming was underway. First, we got 2 cluster bombs to handle these dense packs of balloons, then we added a Mob Mauler and a half for round 40, and right when I thought we could work on the fun stuff, Camos completely broke through our defenses, but that was nothing a 2-2-0 sniper couldn't handle. This wasn't enough camo popping power for the coming rounds, so the obvious choice was a village, especially since we'll be getting a primary expertise in the near future. For now though, we stopped at a 2-2-0 and got our cluster bombs up to recursives for some more defense, and then got our sniper to a 4-2-0 main mob to help out with any blimps that'll be heading our way. With this, I thought we'd be able to save up for a PEX, but round 63 had other ideas. So I put another recursive cluster up front and sent those ceramics packing. From here, we coasted all the way through the primary expertise upgrade, and then we spammed Mob Maulers all around it. Now, I rarely use this strategy as I normally find it boring, but there was something oddly satisfying about placing tons of super cheap bomb shooters near the entrance of Area 51. After we filled out the PEX's range, we got a downdraft heli pilot for the leaking ceramics, and then upgraded the front Mauler to a Mob Eliminator. And this, with miscellaneous support, was more than enough to beat Line. On to the final challenge, a unique expert level map, and the obvious choice was Epilogue, the most epic looking map I've ever seen. But we quickly decided against it after seeing just how it worked and opted for the funniest map we'd ever seen, BTD6 IRL. Not only is it a blurry picture that looks like it was ripped from Google Maps, but the fact that a road was built around a landslide like this is absolutely absurd. Additionally, placing cartoon monkeys on this picture reminded me of Space Jam, making the map that much better. Now, the balloons alternate what side they start on, and we don't have the most time to attack them, so we had to go with a very solid 2-dart 1-sub start. After that, we got a second sub, and were able to save up for Pat Fusty. There was no way that I was going to beat 4 custom maps without bringing in my favorite hero, and we saved the best for last. Then, we got 2 Airburst Dart subs for global popping power, and started on our main damage dealer of the run, a Top Path Ninja. One of my favorite strats to do with Pat is 21 Ninjas, and this time we'll be running the Grandmaster with a bunch of Shinobi buffs. Unfortunately, we don't have the most room, and I tried to get fancy with the villages, as having a double discount for that many Shinobis is well worth it, but I messed up and wasn't able to buff Pat Fusty or our main ninja with the village that'll become the MIB. Honestly, a huge mistake that I should have fixed right here by starting over, but at least now the win won't be a piece of cake and should make for quite the challenge. Knowing that we'd lack lead popping power in the future, I placed down an ice monkey next to the Bloon Jitsu with the plan of making it a super brittle in the 90s. Then we got an alchemist and started placing down a few shinobis so we can save up for the Grandmaster upgrade. How many shinobis you get depends on the map and your start, so I first tried with 8 of them. I wanted to rush the Grandmaster upgrade straight up, but I knew that we weren't fortunate enough to have that luxury. But even with 8 buffs, round 63 leaked again and has become the trend of the video. Anyway, it's nothing that 6 more shinobis and 2 upgraded ice monkeys can't fix. With these towers in place, we were able to afford the Grandmaster Ninja in the middle of round 80. Now to get as many shinobi buffs on him as possible and work towards a super brittle. It was kind of funny that you can place land monkeys on the scaffolding down below the bridge, but if it makes sense for any monkey to be able to balance on there and attack, it would be the ninja, so my immersion was not ruined. We capped out at 18 shinobi buffs, but this was enough to carry us through the early 90s, and we bought a super brittle in round 94. Up to this point, our lack of lead popping power wasn't too obvious, but round 95 made it very apparent that it was our biggest weakness. Even so, we managed to squeak by, popping a few DDTs pretty close to the exit. Rounds 96, 7, and 8 were a piece of cake, as that's what this strat excels at, though I did overuse my abilities, putting us in a very tough spot for round 99, especially considering that leads are our weakness. After several losses to this round, I was scared that we wouldn't beat it, but then I remembered what monkey saved us on Snake River. The glue gunner. Praying that he'd save us again, I got down a 2-4-0 glue strike as his ability de-leads affected balloons, and it worked like an absolute charm. And for round 100, we used his ability again once the bad layer popped and the Grandmaster Ninja cleaned up the rest of the balloons. But just like that, we beat one custom map of each difficulty on Chimps.
I had my girlfriend change my hotkeys and we're going to try to win with them. Obviously, we could get around this by just using the mouse, but we're going to outlaw that. We hopped into Frozen Over and started clicking buttons, and for whatever reason, my first guess was G, which gave us the glue gunner. A great tower, just not one you normally start with. To make things more interesting, our second rule is that if I click a button that makes a monkey appear, we have to place it. So even if we didn't want it, we're forced to place this glue gunner. This loses on its own, so we clicked some more buttons and lucked out with the submarine, which was linked to J. Why, you may ask? Well, here's Nat's explanation.
The monkey sub was a J for Jimmy John's.
This'll beat the first few rounds, but I had a genius idea after the first. What if we tried to find the upgrade hotkeys for our submarine while we had no money? This way, we'll only select a new monkey if we get super unlucky and find the dart monkey key. And we found it right away. The dart monkey is linked to R. Well, let's just beat round 7 and try again. Luckily, this left us with enough money for longer range, but not enough for any monkey. So it's just a matter of time until we find what the top path upgrade is. And wow, did this take some time. Cue a montage of me pushing every single button on my keyboard with no result. And by all of them, I mean all except for the arrow keys on the right side, which of course is where the upgrade button was. But now we know the up arrow is for the top path. Now, by this logic, the down arrow should be the bottom path upgrade. At least that's what I thought, so we saved up until we could afford twin guns and tried it out. Of course, nothing happened. In fact, none of the other arrows did anything, so we were back to square one. I did purchase advanced intel with this money though, but that was just a panic buy as I didn't know what else to spend it on. Trying to get in the mind of Nat, I guessed that Quincy's hotkey would be H for hero, but that was reserved for the bomb shooter.
The bomb shooter was H for H-bomb.
Not the worst tower we could get, especially since we don't have to worry about leads anymore. Back to trying to find upgrade buttons, I had a hunch that one of them would be shift plus something, and boy were we right. Shift 6 is the carrot that I suppose looks like an upward arrow, and that's what Nat was going for. We now have 2 of the 3 upgrade paths figured out, and we can finally get some decent monkeys. I still really wanted to get Quincy though, so I kept clicking, testing all the shift, control, and even alt combos. This triggered several hotkeys for other programs, like my GeForce experience, Steam overlays, screenshots, and more. All for nothing, as we didn't find a single monkey, upgrade path, or targeting from any of these. However, at the end of this journey, we tried backspace again, which gave us the boomerang,
Because boomerangs come back.
and caps lock, which gave us Quincy.
For Captain America.
2 fantastic finds. And this brought us all the way to round 24, where we were faced with our first camo balloon, but we had no camo detection. Because I didn't know the hotkeys for the ninja or bottom path upgrades, we were forced to upgrade our submarine to a submergence support. This is fine, but we still still don't know how to change his targeting, so I guess he's stuck in submerged mode until that happens. Now, to not waste this money, I tried saving up for the reactor, as no Bloon would be able to get by him for quite some time. But literally, the next round leaked, as I still don't know what the first ability button is, so time to try again, this time with a little more info. Naturally, we started with Quincy. Thank God we found that hotkey. We beat the first few rounds and then tried to get some new monkeys. Our first guess was M, which gave us the engineer.
An M for Mark. I know a Mark. He is an engineer.
Finally, we got a monkey who I don't need the bottom path upgrades for, as I'm definitely going the sentry gun route. So we made it a 2-1-0. This caused some confusion on the middle upgrade being shift 6 and not just 6. I assume this has to do with caps lock being turned off, but I tested this afterward in Sandbox and it didn't seem like it had an effect. So I was just probably being silly. Anyway, we upgraded our engineer to a 3-1-0 and then saved up for a village. In my mind, the only thing that would make sense would be for the village to be linked to V. So we saved up and tried it out, and oh my, were we right. However, we still don't have the bottom path upgrade yet, so getting a village this early was so unnecessary, as we can't discount monkeys. So we just made it a 1-1-0 and moved on. This brings us to round 28 and the first bleds of the round. With over $1,600 to spend, my initial plan was to get a 200 glue gunner and take them out with some corrosive glue. There's just one thing. I forgot what his hotkey was, and we ended up getting a tack shooter on accident. Then, to salvage the run, we placed down a bomb shooter up front and tested the number 1 again, hoping this was the first ability. But it was just a monkey ace.
Because aces are sometimes ones.
I put it off to the side, thinking we could make it a 502 Sky Shredder in the future, so it'll just hang out down there for now. All this is okay, but we definitely need more popping power soon. So we spent the next few rounds getting our village to a 2-2-0, upgrading our bomb shooter to a Mob Mauler, and trying to find out what ability 1 is. I tried A for ability, but something even better happened. We found the alchemist and instantly made it a berserker brew. At this point, we didn't have much money, so I thought we could spam buttons and try to find out what 1 is, but I accidentally clicked J, and we had enough money for a monkey sub. Still though, not the worst monkey we could have bought, especially since he can become a first strike in the future. I really wanted to save up some money, but once ceramic started coming, it was clear that was not an option. So we upgraded our engineer to a 420 sentry expert to hopefully take them out. And boy did he. Once he got several upgraded sentries placed, nothing got past the start of the map, even the fortified ceramics on 46. This let us save up a ton of money, but it was clear that we'd lose in the 60s. So we started searching for the ability buttons once again, knowing that we'd likely find a monkey first. I tried F for first ability, and we ended up getting a buccaneer. Not mad at all, we went on to make him a pirate lord, but the new hotkeys got the best of me, and I accidentally made him an aircraft carrier. That's not a pirate lord at all! In full tilt mode, we also upgraded our submarine to a 230 ballistic missile. Luckily, this will help us out a ton against the large rushes of ceramics that'll be heading our way soon. With less money, but much more popping power, we hit play and started dumpstering the round. Still scared of 63 though, we got another buccaneer and made him a 240 monkey pirate. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him in range of the village, so we had to buff our current village with a new one to affect our new pirate. Is this silly? Yes. Is it worth it? Probably. But this did absolutely destroy any Bloons headed our way. It was at this point I finally accepted that we were going to try to win without any abilities or bottom path upgrades. And this acceptance let us save all the way up for a carrier flagship, getting our first tier 5 monkey on round 74. After this, I accidentally placed a mortar monkey. At the time, I didn't know what button caused this, but I'll let you guys know. It was shift 7, the and symbol.
Because the M in mortar and the M in monkey with the and symbol makes M&Ms.
This would be amazing for breaking out the cave monkey, but once again, I have no idea what the targeting hotkeys are. So for now, he's just a base mortar targeting the front of the track. Anyway, we could finally afford the monkey pirate on round 82. While an amazing tower, it's sad that we won't be able to use this hook for the 90s, but this let us get the monkey intelligence bureau on 84, locking up that DDT popping power. And now our final save up begins, as I want that sentry champion up front. Nothing was too scary except for rounds 94, as some Bloons made it to the top of the screen about halfway through the track. But this round is what gave us the money for our engineer's final upgrade, drastically increasing our popping power. With only a few rounds left, I didn't know what to spend our money on. Naturally, I wanted to buff our boats with another alchemist, but I forgot the hotkey and accidentally placed down a new boat. I just threw this guy to the side, accepted the $540 hit to the bank account, and remembered that the alchemist was linked to A. Then we upgraded the mortar to a 320 for no reason other than I thought it was funny. And before we knew it, we were on the final few rounds. 98 made it pretty far as some of the later balloons turned the corner above the Pirate Lord, but we weren't really at risk of leaking. Then round 99 came in and got obliterated as the fortified DDTs barely made it out of the start, and this leaves us with $19,832 to spend to pop the bad. We opted for a bunch of mob maulers, and I put them in spots that would force our engineer to place his sentries closer to the track. Then we upgraded our attack shooter to a 320 because I didn't want him to be left out, and to round things off before hitting play, we had to push some buttons to try to find some new hotkeys. We got another engineer, found out N is for ninja, X is the spike factory, Z is the wizard, I is the ice monkey, and we accidentally got another attack shooter before hitting play. This amazing setup popped the bad layer before it completed the little square down bottom and finished off the inside shortly after. This is the one path challenge. You can only use one path for each monkey category, and you can't repeat paths, meaning there's no cross pathing and late game combos are very limited. All right, I think I'm going to choose the bottom path for the primary monkeys solely because it gives us early camo detection on the dart monkey. Then for magic monkeys, I'll choose the top path because stronger stim is way too good. And then I'll choose the middle path for support, almost exclusively for the Monkey Intelligence Bureau. I don't know if we'll be able to pop DDTs without it, so had to go that choice. And that does mean we won't be able to upgrade any military monkeys, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Let's hop into Frozen Over, and I think I'm gonna put on Gwen. Load up Chimps, and this should be pretty interesting. I think the hardest thing is going to be remembering to not upgrade, or to not cross path. I think I will constantly mess that up. What a weird start. I plan on getting a 500 wizard in the future. That's why I just got this now. I've been playing so much Civ lately that I just tried to drag my screen to see where the balloons were coming from. Yikes, that's not a good sign. I guess we still have guided magic, which is nice for an upgraded wizard, but I'm gonna miss having intense magic. The lack of Pierce will probably hurt us on round 10. But I think we'll be fine. All right, next up, we're gonna get a crossbow. Get early camo detection and that extra pierce plus damage, very nice. Oh, it pains me to not get quick shots right now. Oh, I suppose we could also get a T-Rex. That'd be cool. T-Rexes are kind of sick. And Beastmasters don't need to be cross-pathed. That's like almost cheating. I don't think I'll use a Beastmaster because that would be way too easy actually. Next up, okay, 1405, that's kind of hefty. I think we'll just go for Gwen. Oh, I guess with bottom path, we could get attack zone as well. Put that right here. I guess it depends on where we put our village. Slow down the game. Put down Gwendolyn. Easy lead popping power. If you didn't know better, you'd think that I planned this. We can probably make it to Arcane Mastery. Maybe. We might need... I guess we have Cocktail. I'll put Cocktail here in case... I'll put it here just in case balloons get kind of far. I know normally a 023 crossbow can handle the... Ooh. That's a little scary. We lost. Restart. All right, well, I guess purples are scarier than I thought. So start with the dart monkey, and this time we'll go with attack shooter. Now do I just go for crossbow again? I'll get down Gwen first. We love Gwen. Once we get out of the early game, I think we'll be okay. Tell you what, purples will not get us this time. I refuse. Don't quite know where I'll get the MIB. That's a problem for another day. So we have top path for magic. Oh, the ninja won't get Seeking Shuriken. That's disgusting. I'm gonna just preemptively put her on strong because of next round. Could also get an alchemist down. I think that's probably the play. Also put him on strong. Make him a 300. I can't believe I forgot about purples last round. Well, I thought the crossbow would be able to handle it. Maybe if I put the crossbow on strong, we would have popped them all. I just had too much faith. I was going to get an overdrive, but I think I'll just go to a sharpshooter. Or I could keep using cocktail. We'll roll the dice. We'll play the cocktail game. Cocktail game sounds like a bar game. All right, let's see what this thing can do. Nice. I know crosspath that handles these very easily. It looks like it does. Not crosspath as well. Nice. All right, now we'll save up for sharpshooter. I've been playing so much Dread Balloon, it looks weird not having a lead to gold to pop. You know, I think we would have been fine. There's nothing that we can really get to help us too much right now. I mean, I'll probably be getting a spike storm eventually. I think we'll just save up 4. Stronger stim. Oh no. I think this is a game saver actually. Does that not hit the wizard? Kind of needed to hit everything. Tragic. Okay. Well, you do not have counter detection, but everything else does, which is nice. And what we can do, oh, this is genius. Because we can't upgrade any military monkeys, I didn't think I would get any, but we can just get a mortar unupgraded because we've already allocated all 3 paths and have that break out the stunning boy. Hopefully he gets put in a good spot. Would be ideal. So what I'm thinking, just because this is going to be a beast, you know, that's not the worst spot I've ever seen. It was just about to be where I put down the village. I was just about to say, I want to put down another village just to give it extra range to affect the wizard with camo detection. Or do I save up for attack zone? Or do I get a crossbow master? We'll put you on strong. Fun fact from the blog, the cave monkey's name is Greg. So, crossbow master or the tack zone. I just feel like the tack zone, it'll absolutely carry for like 64. Will it be able to take on 63? Probably not. So we have bottom path for primary. We get mob glue. That's a great upgrade. Which means... oh, I was hoping it would barely reach. Am I gonna put anything in this? Probably not. I know I'll put mob glue up here. So I guess I will just use up this little circle. That's probably the play. Where do I go here? All right, I'll put it there. Hopefully this gets camo detection. Nice. Oh, I'd love to get discounts on them solely because I have 2. All right, we'll get arcane spike to help out with 63. And then we'll save up for probably attack zone. There we go. So late game will be funky. I assume we'll have enough for attack zone and grandmaster, but things might get a little tight. Luckily, Gwen plus attack zone's pretty decent. Also around 100 might be tough. I guess that's where the spike storms come into play. So our biggest problem will probably be, I mean, 78 if we can't get the Archmage by then. Means we'll have to get the attack zone first, in which case we'll probably struggle. Hopefully we can make it though. We have Greg here helping us out. 8,000 more. Oof. Not even halfway to this guy. Some other options we could do. We could get a sun avatar. That'd be cool. Shame we can't get knockback. We could get an overclock. We can get mob press boomerangs. We will be getting those. And then if we have a lot of money, which we won't, we could always get an icicle impale. Would love to get an arctic wind, especially because it looks cool on this map. But what are you gonna do? We'll see how close we can get to an archmage. We're well over halfway already, so still would have been funny to just run a bunch of T-Rexes. I think I can just use double heated up on 78. Why do I keep saying heated up? Double firestorm. The best thing about the archmage is that it's basically crosspathed. You get dragon's breath and shimmer, though I wouldn't mind intense magic. All right, just to safeguard us, I'll get the MIB because 2 of our strong boys are weak to purples and I don't trust 005 Dart Monkey to carry. Then we'll save up for the tack zone and then just get a ton of support. Early 80s actually makes quite a bit of money. More than I always end up making more than I think I will. And then of course the late 90s, 96 and 98 give you tons of money, but that's only helpful for around 100. I know for a fact I'll get comments about how just leaving those green is gonna bug the heck out of people, and that's okay. There we go. All right, lots of mob damage now. This is our DDT counter. Very worried about just the huge number of blimps that'll be coming though. Let's see, I'll get a mob glue now. You want strong. If we have extra money, I'll make it a relentless, but we can't get the middle path to make it affect everything. That'll help out for DDTs. How far does this reach? Ooh, you want strong? All right, how fast do we kill those? Nice. I'm gonna say Archmage, aka Gandalf, does do very well against DDTs. It's middle path, right? Okay, good. Get Spike Storm up. Looks like, I don't think, oh, we can get one more. All right, we'll get 2 Spike Storms. All right, these 2 boomers are kind of helping out more than I thought they would. So this is the real test. We do not have a middle path ninja to help out. Okay. Wow, okay. That was way better than I thought. 96, very scary. We'll just use that now. Get down a cocktail. Get another spike storm. All right, if we're struggling this much against 96, 98 is going to be a doozy. Luckily, 97 shouldn't be too bad. I guess I don't... Oh, it's the ceramics that we need help with. You ready for these pro plays? Please tell me it's top path for magic. Okay, good. We'll get 2 Root of the Storms for the blowback. That should stall super ceramics pretty well. I don't quite know when to use abilities here. Getting overwhelmed. Heated up, or Firestorm. All right, not even close. Let's redo that round. All right, round 98, attempt 1. Maybe we can work towards another one of these. We can make Gwen hit level 20 with just a little bit of money. By a little bit, I mean 2 grand. There we go. Now her Firestorm does way more. Huh? Okay. We're getting closer. We knew round 98 would be the hardest part of this challenge. Probably should have just done it in the challenge editor, but we'll do that if we can't beat it. Maybe this was a waste of money. Do I wait to use Firestorm even later? Will it pop them? No. Dang, this is brutal. Okay. Maybe the Druids of the Jungle weren't a good choice. Maybe I also could have just not gotten the second Spike Storm. What happens if I use these early? Will they come back up in time? That would be huge for the program. Use this again. Oh. Go Druids. You're OP. I thought Firestorm would kill those ceramics faster. What little bit of microing can we do? Oh, because Firestorm applies heat up to everything, I should definitely use it in conjunction with the Spike Storm abilities. Easy enough. Wait till they get kind of far. Throw that down. Put you over here. Use them both. Hopefully we get it back up. All right, maybe I was a little too hopeful. Spike Storm does not come back up in time. Neither does Firestorm. No. Spike Storm got close though. All right, we're restarting. Whew. Okay. Whew. All right, we got back up to round 95, and I am in the challenge editor. So I restricted the paths so I could not crosspath anything or mess it up in any way. But the key differences are I did not get the crossbow master. I did get an overclock, and I changed the position of Greg. Other than that, we got 1 more stronger stim, and it should be about the same. We still have 2 mob presses, a mob glue. Had to get the 2 villages again, but it's looking pretty solid. I've just been overclocking Gandalf here, and anytime overclock is not up, I use my other abilities if needed. But watch this. He goes very hard against DDTs, especially when overclocked. Big fan. Now we still do struggle against super ceramics, but we don't really have a solution to that with the paths that we chose. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. Also probably shouldn't have overclocked in the middle around 97. Oh well. We'll use Firestorm now and spikes. And then with overclock, I'm hoping that will be okay. At least make it up to a crossbow master that's massive. Wow, okay. Not as massive as I thought. Oh, let's get a call to arms. Let's get a call to arms. All right, once again, failing a 98. Let's move cocktail up here, activate it, move it back. Oh, it was affected by that. Dang. Or by stronger stim. Feels bad, man. Okay. Overclock. Heat it up. Spike storm. Call to arms. Hopefully will be available in time. Use cocktail. Call to arms buffing the wizard should be enough here. Whew. Oh, and we got max level. All right, yeah. Overclock, call to arms on a Archmage. Yes, please. Nice. Now we'll just wait till it's in range. The bat is in range of Gandalf. Overclock it. You'll love to see it. Hopefully we end up popping it. It'd be kind of funny if we did. That, heat it up. Oh, nice. Well, that was the 1 path challenge. That was a lot more fun than I thought. It would be a lot more challenging.
Oh, side note, there's about 24 hours left on the merch. After that, it will no longer be available. Just thought I'd let you guys know. But oh, I don't really have an outro. But if you want to try this challenge for yourself, here's the code. It was submitted by Globberski over on Twitch, so thank you for the great idea. We'll be playing a mod where every time a monkey attacks, it teleports to a random spot on the map. It can be on the track, on the water, or in the middle of nowhere. I tried a few starts. Triple Dart Monkey was the most fun as they teleported the most, but man did they keep going to worthless spots. So much so that we lost right away on logs. Next, I tried Quincy. He did a little better as each arrow popped a couple balloons, but we ran into the same issue. So what finally got us through was a sniper dart start. What I didn't know going into this was that after a monkey teleports, it ignores obstacles, which makes the sniper way better. This let us beat rounds 6 and 7 and even got us enough money to afford another sniper. These two were popping the balloons and snapping around the map without a care in the world. Now, upgrading these guys was probably the way to go, but I wanted to start getting XP on Quincy, so I plopped him down in the middle of round 10. And if he ever went to a useless spot, we can always use this mod's special ability to manually teleport him to a better spot. From here though, we had options. I was thinking a heli or mortar would be nice because we'd anchor them in good spots, but I ended up going with a spike factory. I thought getting a carpet of spikes later on would be nice, and in the meantime, spike piles being placed randomly throughout the map would be funny. Little did I know how wrong I was. This guy loved teleporting to the edge of the map, and I had to constantly unstick him, which was a level of micro I wasn't ready for. Then we picked up a Buccaneer as he has a ton of range and watched him instantly teleport to the very end of the track. Not a very good spot, but I liked that he could go on land. To get away with microing less often, we upgraded the Spactory and Buccaneer to have longer range with the hopes that they'd always be able to see a part of the track. And with this, the teleports per second really went up. When the screen was full of balloons, our monkeys were moving around like they were in a Dragon Ball Z fight. We started saving up money trying to get to a destroyer, but right when we got close, round 31 leaked out of nowhere. We had been doing so well, but a ton of balloons got through. I retried the round and we won super easily. There's already a lot of RNG in BTD6, but with this mod there's even more. So we might just have to get lucky in order to win. In the middle of round 32, we got this big upgrade and our Buccaneer went crazy. There were balloons all over the track, so he just kept attacking even after he teleported. And this seemed to be a theme. He would clear the screen until he ended up in a corner somewhere, and he wouldn't be able to attack until the balloons made it all the way to him. And once he started moving around again, there were always more balloons for him to pop, so he'd go on short sprints of bouncing around. This was fine for rounds with tons of balloons, but I was afraid for round 40 when there's only one tanky balloon to deal with. So we got down a monkey ace with the plans of making it a fighter plane. This was funny to watch because with every attack the base would move around the map, and the plane would try to fly over to it just to have the base move again. This caused for some crazy flight paths, but if we left it uncircled, the plane seemed to stay roughly in the center of the map. And we were able to make it a 420 ODS near the end of round 39. For whatever reason, this upgrade made the plane start teleporting with the base as well, but it was still putting in work, letting us just barely beat rounds 39 and 40 without leaking. But now it was time to save up for the aircraft carrier. Our most expensive upgrade so far, as it gives the Buccaneer 3 little aces that fly around shooting the balloons. We got this on round 45, and I was hoping that every plane attack would make him teleport, but that was not the case. No, he stays perfectly still unless the Buck himself shoots. Still though, this gives us some reliable damage to both Moab class and normal balloons. Now, we should probably save up for a late game tower now that we have this mid game buck, but I wanted to experiment some more. A super monkey with epic range seems perfect as it should never get stuck with how much of the map it can see, and it can help out with camos. So we made it a 032 Robo Monkey. This is nice as not only does it deal solid damage, but its knockback is crazy strong against Moabs and ceramics, making our defenses a bit better. Plus, it shoots 2 attacks at a time, so maybe it'll bounce around more than other monkeys. From here, I had one plan: get an elite defender to see how fast it'll be moving. So over the next several rounds, we upgrade our base sniper to a 023. Already, this guy was moving so fast that following him around cured my ADHD. The only scary round was 59 when camo leads came, as our only solution to those was getting lucky with exploding pineapples, and they weren't connecting too often. But then I had the idea to give our FMJ sniper shrapnel, and the rest of the camo leads were popped. As for the 60s, they weren't too bad. We had the normal tough rounds like 63, but we were actually set up pretty well for it. The leads did put an end to most of our projectiles, but logs is long enough that eventually the ceramics were in the lead and our defenses could take them out. Honestly, I should get more lead popping power, but I loved it when leads were all over the screen and our monkeys went bananas.
like on round 69 when our Super Monkey, Sniper, and Buck were bouncing around like flubber. But in the middle of round 70, we got the upgrade I wanted all game, the Elite Defender. This guy was moving so fast that I felt like Krillin trying to watch Goku fight. I mean, he's definitely the main character of this run. After this, I thought about getting some support monkeys, but alchemists and villages are kind of off the table because of our monkey's teleporting nature. So we went a different route and started saving money once again. Round 75 got super far as fortified leads led the charge and one even got through. But switching our FMJ sniper to first solved this issue on the second try, and round 76 was easy because we used Quincy's storm of arrows. But this let us get to round 79 where we picked up the carrier flagship. This will be our main source of damage going forward, but man are we still weak to leads, and we need to fix that by the time DDTs come on round 90. Throughout the 80s, I was brainstorming solutions to our DDT problem, and I ended up going with a glue storm. It won't matter where this guy teleports to because we only need his ability when the screen is full of DDTs, as it removes their lead property and makes every balloon take extra damage. We got this in the late 80s, so we have the 90s to make some money and get 1 or 2 more monkeys. The first one we went with was upgrading our Super Monkey to a Tech Terror, giving it extra pierce and a nice ability if we ever get in trouble. Plus, it gave us some more lead popping power. The next few rounds all acted the same. The balloons got pretty far, we activated Glue Storm, and our monkeys caught back up. This gave us plenty of money to get a first strike in the middle of round 98, and after making this purchase, I tried to use the Tech Terror's ability to help out. But I ended up whiffing as it teleported out of range right as I used it. Even without this, we managed to beat the round, though tons of Super Ceramics made it to the final pass before getting popped. This would have been easier had I used Glue Storm more often, but I made sure to save that for the fortified DDTs of 99, which let us pop them about halfway through the map. And it lasted long enough to even affect the bad. Here, our towers whittle it down, and once the outer layer was very weak, we used First Strike, which took out everything but a few Super Ceramics that our towers easily cleaned up. But just like that, we beat chimps with uncontrollably teleporting monkeys. Free play limits have been pushed farther than ever before, with players like Raxor getting to the 900s. But what if we limited ourselves to only one of each monkey? This way, super buff ninjas or even sun avatars aren't an option, and we'll really have to make a ton of tough decisions. Well, to test this, we booted up logs on easy and hit play. I started with a dart monkey off to the side and got Benjamin as early as possible. I was debating allowing heroes or not in this video, so I met in the middle and just used Ben to make us some extra money, but he won't help us pop the balloons. From here, we made the dart monkey a 023 crossbow. This has to be his best tier 5. Normally, it's the PMFC, but we can only get 1 dart monkey, so that would limit his ability a ton. From here, we got a banana farm, making it a 230 bank as fast as possible. This will make us a good amount of money, but more importantly, can be upgraded to a monkeynomics and sacrificed to a sun temple later on. The only thing is that whatever we sacrifice to the temple can't be replaced, as we only get 1 of each. So I want to get the temple up and running early so we can place other monkeys around it and not worry about future sacrifices. We put the super monkey right below the water and got a signal flare to the right of it so we can pop every type of balloon pretty easily. This allowed us to get our bank to an IMF loan, speeding up our farming by quite a bit. And as much as I wanted to make a monkeynomics now, I figured getting a little more defenses would be the play. So we got down a glue gunner to get rid of that primary monkey discount, bought a 420 bomb shooter, and started saving for that tier 5 banana farm. We got this on round 58, and money was no longer a problem. We still get the normal output of the IMF loan, but now his ability gives us a free 10k every use with no drawbacks. So now we get to focus on defending. To lock things up, we made our dart monkey a crossbow master, and he was sitting just outside of the super monkey's range. This is perfect as I didn't want to sacrifice him, but now it was time to make the tier 4 super monkey. Normally, I'd make the temple a 1101, but because we only get 1 of each monkey, I was struggling with what to sacrifice. The farm was an easy choice, but the others were tough. I wanted to hit the 50k mark for each category while not sacrificing too much damage later on, so we ended up going with a Bloon Crush, Monkeynomics, Bloon Sin, and Special Poperations. While all good in their own right, I figured they wouldn't help much against bads, which will be our biggest problem in free play. This didn't take long at all, and we had the temple up and running by round 88. This guy is now our main damage dealer and is working with Ben to make us extra money each round. To make sure we didn't lose, we picked up a 250 homeline defense next to everything and bought a few more defenses. I wanted to lock up the water first, so we got a carrier flagship, Lord of the Abyss, and Energizer. 3 easy choices if you ask me. The Energizer's cooldown reduction should help way more than his other paths. The extra pierce from the Mermonkey will be amazing for the huge balloon rushes in the hundreds, and the carrier flagship should outdamage his other 2 paths. But now I just wanted to fill the map with the best upgrades and give them the most buffs possible. So we got down a Permabrew Alchemist to see how to space everything out, and we put a Super Brittle on the Carrier Flagship to give it as much coverage as possible. This guy will make every balloon it hits take extra damage, so we want it to see as much of the map as it can. Next, we got down the essentials, a Glue Storm and an Ultra Boost. The Glue will make every balloon take more damage, and the Engineer will make every monkey we have attack faster. The only thing is we have to use this Ultra Boost every time it's up if we want to get the most out of it, and I am notorious for forgetting about it. But from here, we filled out the map, getting as many damage dealers or stallers as we could. By the Fortified Bad on 140, we had Supermines, a Mad, Superstorm, Grand Saboteur, Glaive Lord, Wizard Lord Phoenix, Cripple Moab, Infernal Ring, and a Flying Fortress. There were a couple hard decisions that I had to make, like getting a Mad over a Ray of Doom or Supermines over a Carpet of Spikes, but I think we made the right call. We only had 2 monkeys that weren't tier 5s at this point, the Sun Temple and Giant Condor. But we can't get the Beast Handler to a tier 5 without having 4 of them, and because his damage is so low compared to the other monkeys, we made him a 0-2-4 in the hopes he might stall some balloons for us that would have leaked otherwise. And for the Sun Temple, I think it's a little late for making it a true Sun God. We would have had to plan it from the start, and a VTSG is off the table since we can't get the other 2 super monkeys. But the next 60 or so rounds were roughly the same. I went around to every monkey and ultra boosted them, used the other abilities whenever it was convenient, and I kept the Mad locked on shooting down the first straightaway. The nice thing about this setup is nothing should ever pose a threat outside of bads, as our Superstorm Druid will push them back to the start of the map, and we have plenty of damage for even fortified bads at this point in the game. In fact, it wasn't until round 223 that I took the Mad off locked mode and started manually aiming it. This was because fortified bads were starting to make it a few turns into the map before popping, and I figured I should get a feel for how much damage we truly do before I have to start using Ultra Boost for its active overclock on our main towers. At this point, I was just getting the 10 passive stacks on the last of our monkeys. All that's left are the Engineer, Alchemist, Glue Gunner, Beast Handler, Ninja, and Village. So that's what I did. Sacrificed the active boost on our best towers to get the passive Ultra Boost buff on everything we have. Definitely not needed, but I wanted to max out our DPS just in case it gets us an extra round or 2. This is an extra 70 Ultra Boost on something arguably not that important, but somehow we got away with it. On round 258, we got the final boost on the village, rounding out our stacks on every monkey. But here is where I realized I made a mistake. Early on, I ran out of space near the Permabrew. Honestly, a boneheaded move because the only important tower I couldn't get next to it and the Homeland Defense was the Flying Fortress, one of our highest damage dealers. And between the buffs, I chose to put it in range of the Village and Sun Temple. But now, the Village has 10 Ultra Boosts on it, meaning it gets 25% more range. So there's actually a spot I could have placed the Ace to get all the buffs. Whether or not I would have lived long enough to pull this off, I don't know, but the potential was there. What's crazy is after we finished boosting everything, I went back to overclocking the Sun Temple and didn't see much of a difference. So I started testing what to overclock. The Flying Fortress had the most pops, so I gave that a go, but I didn't notice anything here either. The Mad though, it seemed to be doing the most to bads, which were the only things getting far, so that's what I decided to boost for the rest of the game. But even with this increased damage, the bads were getting far fast. On round 259, a fortified bad made it over 3/4 of the way through the map. This seemed to come out of nowhere, but it makes sense with how fast health and speed scales this late into the game. Every round after 250, Moab class balloons get plus 100% health and get 2% faster every round. Luckily, this is linear and not exponential, but it still gets out of hand fast. All the blimps we're fighting at this point have about 50 times more health than usual and are a little faster than 6 times their normal speed. And while I was doing everything we could to increase our damage at this point, the fortified bads just got farther and farther until we couldn't pop them. Round 264, with its 10 bads, 3 of which were fortified, were too much. Even with several retries, a fortified bad or 2 would make it to the end. So this was our limit. You guys should let me know if I'm overlooking any tier 5s, if I should have made the temple different, and if I should have allowed heroes like Ezili. Around 264 was how far I got with one of each monkey. Alright, we're going to try to beat chimps in under 1 minute. Now, the balloons take too long to spawn to do this normally, so we have the faster forward mod on. Normally, you're set to 3 times speed when you have fast forward on, but we are going to be in times 75 times speed. So I think with all the placing and letting the balloons get further, we should be around the 1 minute mark if we can keep up. And the timer will start once we hit play. I want to hit the start button and the timer at the same time, and then do Fast forward right away. For the first run, I was a little too stressed to say anything productive. I was just kind of making noises while placing monkeys quickly. But I had somewhat of a plan. I knew we needed to prep for the early camos and leads because I wouldn't be able to react to them in time. So we started with 3 dart monkeys and instantly upgraded one of them to a triple shot with camo detection. This will be able to pop every camo through the 30s, and it let us build a hotshot Buccaneer next. With leads taken care of, all that was really left to worry about was the round 40 Moab. But after placing Brickle and upgrading our boat to a destroyer, we were in good hands, and it was time to take on the mid-game. We solved our camo problem forever with a reactor and went straight to a carrier flagship. We could only do this because of how easy Spa Pits is as a map, but it gives us a massive jump in popping power. And this was kind of the end of my planning. I panicked, and the only things I could think of to speed up the run was to spam abilities, to buy a Mib and Pirate Lord, and hope we had enough popping power for the late game. But it wasn't enough. Come on. No! Alright, we got to round 90. Do we have the popping power to do it, though? Okay. Oh my goodness, we're actually not even close. We have a ton of money still, but what's the timer going to be at when we win? Oh, I should have been on top of it. Alright. That put us at 119. Now I was stressed. Okay, let's bump up this speed. Faster forward. I only have it on 25, and I think that's ridiculous. Let's bump it up to 90. As long as we can survive. We have to remember early camos, leads, hero. Camos, leads, hero. I loved that. Start. Sure. Let's just go like this. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Just spam triple shot. Bang, bang. Get the hero down. Where's the buck? Get you down. 1, 2, 3. We'll just go straight to a reactor. Why not? There we go. Do I want this guy? I don't know. Okay. Back to you, aircraft carrier. Nice. We're on round 52. We're 20 seconds in. I don't know if going straight for a carrier flagship is the way to go. I should probably just get a village. All right, we'll get a village now. Nudge mod saving me. Go straight to a Mib because I hate leads, even though we have a reactor up front. That's something I could change going forward. All right, put the mine down. Oh, I need to be spamming naval tactics. Let's be clicking these two. 1 and 3. All right, we have 15 seconds left. What could make us do more damage? You. I'm literally just spamming. Oh, that's a minute. How are we still not there? I sped it up so much more. All right, what would we be at if I just play it out? We shaved off so little time. We shaved off 2 seconds. I didn't change the fast forward. All right, 10 times speed, 90. So now we'll be going even faster, assuming lag doesn't take over. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Go straight to you. Get a buck with that. Sure. Why not move you up here? Oh my goodness, if I could place it. Nice. Get jungle drums at least. Look at that. We already have an aircraft carrier. Get you down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yup. Start using naval tactics because we're crazy like that. I didn't start the timer. I pushed 0 and did that not work? Oh, now it works. I actually don't know if these dart monkeys are in good spots. I cannot tell because I'm too busy trying to upgrade them. All right, have you selected? 3, 2, 1, go. Put you there. We'll just get you first. Why not? Nice. Oh, I should probably get that guy first next time, just to help out a bit. Go straight to the. Heck, we'll go straight to the Pirate Lord. He seems like he'll go crazy. Get you. Go to the carrier flagship. Oh my goodness. Our timer's in red. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. I declare a thumb war.
That's the big time, baby.
What did I get last time? An ice monkey. Hurry. I need to be spamming the poles. What am I doing? Come on. Only a few more seconds. No. All right, around 96. Okay. How hard? Oh, wait. We took our time there. We cut off 10 seconds. If I kept using abilities and spent our money. Oh, because I could upgrade the village. That's what I'll do next. A nice little warm up. Finish fast. Just like your mom. Cut that out. Don't put that in. I don't know why I said that. I just flustered myself. Okay, here we go. Oh, did I change it? 100 times speed. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my goodness. There we go. You get you down. Oh no, wrong button. I'm selling. Oh, look at these strats. I'm just in the correct pool now. The carrier flagship's cheaper, but I am gonna go straight for the Pirate Lord. Oh, we're behind schedule. There we go. Next. I lied. Oh. Now we get the carrier flagship. We are cooking, boys. 20 seconds left, 21 rounds. Doable. Get the ice monkey right here. Give it extra range and that for some reason. Oh, use the pulls and that. What am I doing? We're almost there. Hurry. Go, go, go. We were not really that close. We actually did worse than last time. All right, let's keep using the pulls. The lag might have been too much. We need to shave off 15 seconds. Because I know in actual speedrunning, they get like a balloon trap to insta-kill the balloons, and they use Oben. They just spam his brambles. And, I just don't think I have the time to do actual speedrunning strats. Like get a wall of fire and target it. By the time I do that, it'll be around 50. What if I start with a sub and dart? I could do the actual speedrunning strat of getting a Prince of Darkness. Do I want that? Prince of Darkness and... Oh, I would have to manually target it. Interesting. If I do the Prince... I can try. I'll do my best. All right. 100 times speed. I don't even know. We'll upgrade this one first. 3, 2, 1, go. Restart. 3, 2, 1, go. Get you down. No, hurry. Huge. Oh, I panicked. Oh, we... Okay, easy. 3, 2, 1, go. Love that. Get you down. Oh my goodness. Yup. Get you down. Put the targeting right there. Don't even care that's in a bad spot. It's gonna be popping them so fast. Then we will go... I don't know if that reaches the boat, but we can certainly try. Does it? It does. Give this guy... Oh, let's just get the Pirate Lord because we're there on money. Then we want to give you a stronger stim. Sure, we'll get that guy. Be spamming this and this. We're at 88. 9 seconds left. Come on. 3 seconds. Oh my goodness, this is going to be harder than I thought. Okay. I actually think... Okay, well, one... I have 35k in the bank. We hit the wall. 115 wall. Classic. 75 seconds. Alright, I did not like Ben. Sorry, Ben. That's not even Benjamin. What if I start with a buck and dart? Buck and dart. The prince kind of sucks on this map now I think about it. The necromancer doesn't, but the necromancer's for the mid game that we kind of blow through. We'll still try it, let's be honest. Boat, carrier flagship's not the play. Need something to pop them faster. What if we just do one boat like monkey pirates into a tax zone pod and then figure out what to do for the late game? What do I want for the late game? An archmage. There we go. We have our trio. So 3, 2, 1, go. Ah. Oh, I didn't get that. Oh, we need this guy. You and you. Oh, the panic is real. I guess we're going for a prince right here. All right. Oh, I forgot what we were getting. Attack zone. It's okay. We're basically there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could get a village. 40 seconds. That's fine. What was our last one? Archmage. Move you right here. Nice. It's actually exactly. It's been a minute. We went slower? What is going on? We're lagging too. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be our worst time yet. That's where we finished on 75 time speed. So that was too much lag. I don't even know what caused it, but something did. Can confirm that. 138, we're getting worse. 90 times speed. Gonna be honest, boys, triple dart was much more promising than our pivots. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. You on strong. You. Huge. Give you this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, what do we want now? What pops things fast, boys? Tax zone. I feel like it's a little late for this guy, but that's okay. And then an archmage. Give it to 51 seconds. That's fine. 55. Oh, we're only on round 90. Oh, we should probably get a mib. Using hex is kind of tough, not gonna lie. It's okay. We were behind schedule. I'm trying to think, what is the most OP strat right now that's not stalling? We could just do Quincy Snipers Permabrew. We try that. Honestly, while we're not lagging, we'll just do 125 times speed. I believe in us. Do the triple dart start, obviously. Go Quincy into Snipers over here with a Permabrew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. 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 You ready for this? Oh, wrong button. Leads are coming. Get you down. Just get this guy right away. All right, now we save up for Permabrew. Go faster. We need the money. This is a long round. All right, we're actually almost there. Oh, there we go. Permabrew. Get another one. 5 seconds. All right, the balloons are getting ridiculously far, and we made it farther than normal in this amount of time. I still have a copy paste mod. There's so much money, and guess what? Same time, slower by by 0.4 seconds. Sad. What if with this extra speed we try the first strat again? Where's Brickle? There we go. Try this strat again, but without lagging. 3, 2, 1, go. I clicked him. No. Click. There we go. I guess we're going straight for a Pyro Lord. Oh, what did I say I wanted? I'm blanking, chat. I'm blanking. Oh, hey, that's the farthest we've gotten. All right, Carpet of Spikes was not the play. I'm going to be honest. And I knew that when I did it. All right, this might be our last try before we have to restart again. If I were a balloon, what would I not want to see? A Ray of Doom, obviously. We're not saving up that much. We could go for a Bloon Sin, because Bloon Sins would remove the Fortified and that would speed things up. It's not the worst idea of the day. I can get a first strike. I feel like the insides of the bat are going to get pretty far if I do this, but that is okay. We will give her a go. I really thought we could get there. All right, yeah, that was not a college try. That was a bad try. Tried to skip a step. Did I not buy hot shots? Excuse, I thought I went. Leads are our weakness. That's on me. I went out of my way to click hot shots. Reset you. Look at that. Look, I even got a cannon ship that time. Oh, what was I getting? I am so sorry, chat. Okay, we'll just... What am I getting? Oh, I remember now. I'm so sad. I'm just spamming these. I hope the clicking does go over the mic too. Then we need to get a first strike. This is so early for a first strike. Holy cow. Oh, this is actually easily the fastest we have ever been. Time. Actually, we might have had a 109 in the past. All right. Think I'm going to go triple shot. Buck. If I can place a hero, I will. Submarine, Prince of Darkness. Might get a Monkey Pirates in there. Ooh, already forgot. Pirate Lord. Damn strike. Mix in a village and an alchemist if we have the time. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this just feels faster. Yup, get that. Nope. Right there. I don't know why I got a MIB already. 34 seconds in. We are blazing through the rounds. I don't know. I don't know what the checkpoints are, but that did not make me happy how far those just got. But now we are going for the preemptive, and that's the last part of our strat. How are we behind? What? How? What did I do worse? It's been a... Why are the Bloons getting so far? I mean, I know that this guy isn't... Okay, pod's not the play. Just because I can't put him in a good spot. We also have a lot of extra money. Yeah, go ahead, Leak. I don't even care. What do I want to get? Just do a biggest one? No, it's gonna get some... I'll do it. You convinced me. You convinced me. I'll get the biggest one. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Boat. Sub. Nice, nice. Get you. Get the hero down. Oh, what do I get right now? Another boat. Why not? They're getting kind of far. That's why we needed something. There we go. We get you. Then we'll get jungle drums. This is the... I did not want it up there. There we go. This is a part of the game that we slow down. There we go. Get Bernie stuff. Probably shouldn't have got Bernie stuff. All right. Then we get the preemptive strike. Wait, this is easily the fastest we have ever been. We only have to shave out 5 seconds, and that was a terrible run. That could be optimized so easily. All right, instead of preemptive, we need something better. What round did we get preemptive? I liked first strike. What if I also just got the speed on that? Let's try it again. We get the attack speed on the, what's it called? The biggest one. 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. We got our triple shot. Boom. Hooray. What are you doing? Yeah, sure. We'll leave it right there. Come on. There we go. Get the MIB up and running. Pirate Lord. I don't remember what we decided, so I'm just gonna get this again. Oh no. Significantly worse. So we go buck, sub. Sorry. Buck, cannon ship. Buck, cannon ship. Sub, reactor. Hero, Pirate Lord, biggest one, village, alchemist, preemptive strike. Final strike, the bad win. EZ. 3, 2, 1, go. What? Put on 150 times speed is actually step 1. Start with a boomer. And then it would be down to make a glaive lord. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. This is the run, chat. Oh, they're getting kind of far. There we go. There we go. Give it a Berserker Brew. We're already on run 93. No! That was the run! We didn't have a MIB. We got this. That was the run of legend. Look at this. We had already popped the bad. Boom. We had 1.2 seconds ago. Okay. Fake crack the neck. Reset the timer. 3. Oh, and I can move my mouse over here for the buck. 3, 2, 1, go. Look at these optimizations. No one else can make these. This is technically better. I'll just be clicking these the whole time. Get the MIB. Oh my goodness, they actually don't stand a chance. Yes! Woo! Not even close. All right, we broke our PR by like, I don't remember what it was, like 13 seconds. But that was how we beat chimps in 53 seconds, the fastest run I've ever seen. But if you want to see a challenge where I see how fast we can black border a map with a brand new account, click this video right here.